Boom. The song was designed to make you want to bop a little bit. Did you want to bop a little bit? Do you want to bop a little bit to that song? Tell the truth. I love the song. And so my family will dance and they'll sing it. So if I by chance have it in the background or like they hear the starting of a show, then they'll go around. JK, hi JK. Letters, I hope you're still here. Hello. Yeah, so they'll, it's an earbug. So that's what I wanted. That's what I love about it. It gets in my head. It gets in their head more, but I do like to dance and bop to it. It's a bop. It's a bop. Teresa better. So I'm going to quiz you. Hey, maybe I should do this. So I want some Candace merch, and I know that some of you want some Candace merch. Welcome in, by the way, to Teresa Better Life. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. And we love the pre-show. We love being able to chat with each other during Candace's live. So we get to do that today. It looks like it's working. Yesterday, there was some bugs, and I guess we'll get to that. But anyway, thanks for being here. And it's working, so we can all chat today. Hopefully it stays that way. Social media is going crazy with all of the whole Candace thing. I always need about 24 hours to fully digest Candace's, especially when she's throwing out information like crazy and we're learning new information. It takes me a little bit to process through that and get my thoughts in order. And you guys, welcome to my ADHD life when I switch from topic to topic. And if I don't finish something, hey, tell me, go back. Maybe I'll remember, maybe not. And maybe you can help me remember. Hi to all of you. Please click the subscribe button, the thumbs up, hit the heart next to the chat every now and then so that the algorithm knows we're here. Speaking of people knowing we're here. So social media, as Candace let us know yesterday, was going nuts over her, bride of Chucky. I mean, Charlie. You guys, that reminded me of Bride of Chucky. But Bride of Charlie will say, because don't they do Chuck for short for Charlie? Did you guys catch that? So anyways, I thought it was funny. And I want to know if that was a reference of Candace's, if that was intentional. But anyway, so they posted a picture. I didn't go look for this picture. I don't want to know, but she was saying that somebody posted a picture of her producer's kids. That's crazy. We all know on social media, kids are off limits. Like everybody knows that. So I hope this is still working because I haven't seen your comments in a little bit. So anyway, I see Jats. That's the last one I see. So if you guys can see each other's comments, please, do say something. I want to know you can see each other. Otherwise, it'll just be me talking here to myself in the chat like it was yesterday. And hopefully that's not the case. So somebody had posted yesterday on X that during Candace's live, perfect. Thanks, Jeff. During Candace's live, that bots were attacking, which I don't know if you've seen, like Ian Carroll's, Real Baron, Candace. So during their lives, you'll see the bots like going crazy because you'll see comment after comment. Like it's just nonstop. I mean, normally Candace's stream is like that, her comment section. That's why we're here, so that we can see each other's comments and talk a little bit better here than we can on Candace. Okay, perfect, Jots. Thank you. Yeah, yesterday was a mess, and I don't think that was a mistake. So actually, in my title yesterday, I used some of the same keywords that Candace used, Bride of Charlie and all that. So they probably paid a lot of money to be able to go and, shut some things down, or at least slow it down a little bit for a little while. So they're saying bots attacked her chat. I've seen it happen on Ian Carroll's like crazy. He'll start talking about especially Israel. Like it will go nuts with like the same type of message over and over and over and over. And so I had made a comment. I said, yeah. So I live stream, like I do a pre-show, warm up, and then we do a watch party on Candace, and our chats were disabled. Like we couldn't see each other and communicate with one another. Anyway, so some people got nasty. Obviously, they're going to do that on social media. So I'm expecting, I know some people made negative comments there. So I'm expecting today perhaps to get some, people who want to come into the comments and be mean. So if that's the case, y'all take care of them for me. I don't have a mod, and I can't always talk to you and pay attention to what I'm thinking and saying and presenting, and also the comments. So you can help me out there. And I know Letters likes a good fight. Are you still here, Letters? Letters likes a good fight. So he's like, let the haters stay in the comments, because we can get a engagement and all of that. I kind of want peace. Like, so if anybody gets nasty, I don't care if people want to disagree, and yeah, ignore the haters. We don't care. So I don't care if people want to disagree and give their viewpoint. What I dislike is when they come in and they just want to be mean and attack, somebody, I just don't like that part. I just can't stand that part of it. Like, disagree with me all you want. Present your case all you want. Let's talk about it, the best we can, but we don't have to attack one another and be nasty. Anyway, speaking of attacking one another and being nasty. So I just took a look at social media. I haven't really looked at it all day. I've been going over the stuff that the investigation and all the information. In fact, I think I already have deterred from my notes that I had for us to go over. But as I came over here to look before we went on, I guess Matt Walsh is on X, and he's saying, let's see, I'll share my screen. Let me go share this tab instead. I'll add it to the stage so you guys can see what I'm looking at with me. That's not it. Add to stage. Oh, I have to remove this one. Add to stage. Okay. So anyways, so Matt Walsh is saying that someone who presented, if somebody presented the evidence gathered against Erika in a grand jury, that they would be laughed out of the courtroom. Let's see if we can hear. Let's see what he says here.
Although the innuendos about Erika may be compelling fodder. Although the innuendos about Erika may be compelling fodder for YouTube videos, they would not be compelling to a grand jury or a prosecutor or a judge. If you took everything that's been said about Erika or implied and tried to present it as evidence in a court of law.
Matt Walsh, okay, you can say that, Matt, but what I'm telling you is, even when we do have evidence for a grand jury that is compelling Epstein, it still doesn't go anywhere. So this isn't a compelling argument, Matt Walsh.
You would be laughed out of the room. There's no case here. There's no evidence of anything. Now, these attacks on Erika by Candace and by everyone else engaged in this campaign are wrong, deeply, desperately wrong. Wrong morally and factually. They are wrong morally because they are wrong factually. The whole crux of the matter here is not just that Erika is a grieving widow, but that she is innocent of the accusations that are being made or implied against her. So the innuendos about Erika may be compelling fodder for YouTube videos.
Okay, so first of all, she doesn't seem to be a grieving widow, never has. That's part of our problem that we've had from the beginning, is that she doesn't appear to be grieving, and we all wanted to say it. We all thought it. We all felt it before, and Candace came out for us and said it, and we She went with us, and we've been walking hand in hand since. Okay. Let's see. Letter says, okay, and courts fail the people over and over and over again. Right. So just because it would be put before a grand jury, all that, it's really not compelling, Matt Walsh, because we know guilty people are not prosecuted, especially if they have money, especially if they have deep family ties and organizational ties, and especially if they affect your campaign. Aaron Green says, you don't realize how twisted you're getting. So Aaron Green, who's getting twisted? Tell me. Letters wants to know too. Letters will go toe to toe with you. He really will. If we let him. If we don't kick you out. So anyways, you're welcome to present your argument here, Aaron. Just don't abuse people. Let's hear. So anyway, so that is what Matt Walsh had to say. Let me go back. Oh, shoot. I have to go back because I am not very skilled with this, as you guys already know. I had other stuff there I didn't want to lose on X. Oh, there's Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh, debunking. So people are reposting that Matt Walsh's little deal. Oh, there's a full debunking Erika Kirk conspiracy. Matt Walsh did an entire hour episode. He devoted that entire time to it. I don't think it's a legitimate argument to say she's a grieving widow. Number one, she's not been. Number two, that's just not enough. That's not enough for us anymore. And I had wanted to ask you guys a question. And it went out of my mind. Welcome to my mind. Things are chaos. So, is it just me? You guys tell me in the comments. Is it just me, or have things been more chaotic since the Epstein files topic has come to a head? With all of this, I don't think it's just me, and they're gaslighting all of us. Tell me, do you feel like it's gotten more chaotic? Since then, it's been one thing after another. So did you guys hear the recording? And again, I don't know if this is AI or not, but there was a recording that people had posted of Trump saying, I will start wars, do not release the Epstein files. But to me, that's what it sounds like exactly is happening. Is that he will start wars and do all these other things aside from releasing the Epstein files. But I think we need to keep pulling these threads. I don't see comments. Okay, so let me know if you're still there, because I am not seeing comments now, which concerns me because I know you all have a lot to say about this. So, anyway, Trump's State of the Union address had the lowest ratings. Cool. Thank you, Jeff. Had the lowest ratings in the history in 30 years, or one of the lowest in the history of Trump. But in the history of presidents for the past 30 years, the State of the Union address, it was 27.8. Just to let you know, Biden's in 2023 was 27.3. Now that's preliminary, but that's still some of the lowest preliminary. Let me see your comments. Jats, I'm here. Good. Going slow today. Oh, let's see. Got no sleep last night, so not as talkative. Okay, that's okay. As long as I know you're here, we're good. Anyway, so it was really bad. And so he was complaining about it and blaming everybody but himself, of course. Also, side note, I haven't received any notification about Candace when she's going live. So when you get that, if you let me know, that'd be helpful too, so I don't have to keep looking at my phone. Anyway, So, Hillary Clinton's deposition was today. I'm really feeling like this is just all optics. They're playing with our emotions. They're not going anywhere with it. Nothing's going to happen. Her deposition was today. I saw just before we went on, as I saw some other things, she had mentioned Elon Musk. I don't know what that was. I'm guessing because there was some things about Elon in the Epstein files, if I'm remembering correctly. You know, he said something about having a good time on the island or whatever. I don't think Elon is not innocent. He's not innocent. He's not. No, he's on the good guy's side. Remember how I talked about yesterday and on previous, we've talked about it in previous streams. They play good cop, bad cop. Elon Musk right now is good cop. Same with the Democrats coming out with this just to string us along. It's just nothing ever happens. Yeah. And do you think anything's going to happen with Erika? And Charlie Kirk? No, but we need to keep pulling the strings. We need to keep pulling them. It's important because we can't give up. If we give up, they win. Okay, we have to fight. We have to fight all the way. So, Bill's scheduled for tomorrow. So this was closed. The deposition for Hillary and Bill is closed. They're saying they wanted it televised. For whatever reason, I don't know why it wasn't televised. So we'll get updates. It was supposed to end by 3 today or something. So I haven't seen any updates. There probably are some here and there aside from the Elon thing. We're still going to get nothing, just like we did with Leslie Wexner's. Bill scheduled for tomorrow. I sure wish I could be a maid. I wish if I ever wanted to be a maid, ever in somebody's home, it would be right now. It would be for the Leslie Wexner interview. It would be for Hillary and Bill. Oh, to be a floorboard, to be the carpet. Can you imagine? So they're going to their homes. Why also are these depositions done in their homes? Yeah, what do you think the reason for that is? So Pam Bondi yesterday was, I don't know what's up with that today. I haven't caught up on today's news as far as her facing articles of impeachment over the DOJ's handling of the Epstein files. I'm assuming it's just because of the releasing of the unredacted information of the victims. I can't imagine what else it would be because that's really all there is right now. And she's accused of weaponizing the DOJ. Okay, they've been doing that forever and still doing it. So, yeah. So letter says he's a military contractor. He's not innocent. Yeah, Elon is not innocent, but his track record kind of puts him, yes, a PDF as an impossibility, puts him like that's an impossibility. I don't know. Dude, just use his robots. What was that robot that one of the Arab nations, is it Sophia? He had a robot and one of the Arab nations had made it a citizen. These guys are twisted. If you'll use robots, you'll use everything else you can. So, dude just uses robots on adults and impregnates them like Cyborg. Yeah, nothing's going to come of it. But we can fight and we can keep shedding a light on all of this stuff, right? So, as I was saying, I've been saying is Charlie Kirk, and I think part of this led to his undoing, was pushing for the Epstein files to be released. He was pushing really hard for about, 10 days. 10 days, maybe a little less, give or take. So he was on his show. He was doing live events. He was talking to Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, and he's pushing for all of this. And it's funny to go back because this ages really well and is tracking with what they're saying. So let's go ahead and look at some of these clips that Charlie had with Meghan and Tucker. Okay. And this is going to play immediately, which I don't want it to do, but it's going to do anyway.
As we came here, there's a piece in Axios that reflects very poorly on Dan, alleging Dan only freaked out once he saw in this memo that people weren't responding well to the missing minute of the tapes of Jeffrey Epstein's cell. Do you guys?
Okay, so yeah, just real quick. So they're talking about Dan Bongino, and there was an article put out on Axios that that really threw Dan Bongino under the bus, and so she's talking about that.
Know this piece of the story? And that he went into a meltdown like a little child and then threw a hissy fit. So my point is not to weigh in on the truth or falsity of that. It's false. But it is to point out that's clearly a Bondi leak. Very clearly, that's a Bondi leak. So what's clear to me from this, as a member of the media, is Bondi leaked the memo to Axios, and Bondi's doubling down by trying to get Axios to dump on Dan and trying to make him be the fall guy and or Cash be the fall guy. And she will not face the cameras. If she means what she says, fine, come out and defend it. To Dan's credit, he went on Fox a couple of weeks ago, and he got beaten up pretty good for this, and said, I think Epstein killed himself. And the base went nuts. The base doesn't believe that. But he's like, if you got other proof, show it to me.
Well, if
he faced the cameras and did it. She hasn't.
I'm open to it if that's true. Why don't you just tell us the prisoners' names who are on the same cell block as Jeffrey Epstein?
There's a lot.
No, that's BS. I'm sorry. The President of the United States figured out we have HIPAA for federal prisoners. Tell us who the other prisoners were if no one had access to it, because all of a sudden if we find out some of these prisoners had suspicious intel ties, what I'm getting at is at some point, we want answers at some point.
That's funny. HIPAA for prisoners.
Yeah, answer the questions.
You're calling for Pam Bondi to resign or to go, but can you please tell people the breaking news?
So again, remember, this is back in July, July 10th through at least through the 18th, 20th, when really it kind of went silent from there.
According to reports that you have verified, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino will resign if what does not happen?
If she doesn't go.
And what just happened? Dan Bongino resigned, and he picked up his mantle as being an influencer he came out. Everybody was so excited about Dan because they thought he would come out and he would finally see the truth, but he's just walking in step with what they've always done, and he's not saying anything.
I only have it on Bongino.
It's all over X though.
No, I know, but let me just say what my reporting is. Bongino, it's Bongino or Bondi. No, the base has been led down with a trail of breadcrumbs to believe something else for years. This is a story. The only way to end it, if that's your goal, is you stand in front of those cameras and you take every single question your biggest critics have for you.
So let's go through a battle plan. Let's say you're senior advisor to the president. What is the 1, 2, 3 sequencing? Press conference, you would get rid of Bondi. What else to get us back on track towards transparency? I think the DOJ should immediately move to unseal all the Epstein documents in the Southern District of New York.
Yeah.
Everything.
And
everything except sexual assault material.
I think every file should be released to the public the same way as the JFK files. Let the American people decide. I think what people want to know is what other powerful people were involved.
Humiliated the administration. This is a self-inflicted wound. She caused it.
Members of government worldwide.
Oh, gosh. I failed again.
Take every single question your biggest critics have for you.
Okay, so we'll get to later the people who were involved, because I've been looking and digging and looking at other people's research to see, because I'm like, what's that common tie? So it's not the what, it's the who of it all.
So let's go through a battle plan. Let's say you're senior advisor to the president. What is the 1, 2, 3 sequencing? Press conference, you would get rid of Bondi. What else to get us back on track towards transparency? I think the DOJ should immediately move to unseal all the Epstein documents in the Southern District of New York.
Yeah. Everything.
And
everything except sexual assault material.
I think every file should be released to the public the same way as the JFK files. Let the American people decide. I think what people want to know is what other powerful people were involved.
Humiliated the administration. This is a self-inflicted wound. She caused it. Again, I have nothing against Pam Bondi, but if you want to look for the villain in this story, we have found her. She is the person who's she's either lying now or she was lying then. There's no two ways about it.
And she's still lying.
Except what's in the memo, that they don't have the goods on anybody. There's no one who can be indicted. They didn't find a trove of info on other people. Then why was she trying to titillate us over a child sexual abuse case for months? She was on the air repeatedly in February, in March, again in May. It's completely inappropriate. You don't play cutesy with child sexual abuse material.
So analyze.
So what I'm saying is, since she was on there, she's saying, give it to us. I have all this information. Did she not open did she not look at any of this stuff, or did she get read into the plan at that point?
Her for us.
Well, I think she wants to make a name for herself. What she really wants to be is a star. That's what I think she wants.
Did you hear that? What she really wants to be is a star. Remember, she took acting lessons, allegedly. I wonder if she's friends with Erika Kirk.
That's why she runs to the cameras on Fox News. There's no other reason. Look back at the attorneys general. Seriously, do you ever remember knowing an attorney general like this? Or like even having the attorney general's voice in your head? Pam Bondi has one trait, and I think it's why Trump chose her. She's loyal to the president.
Ever seen someone in right-wing media do?
Okay, so she's saying that, and I think to Pam Bondi's credit, okay, as far as her going, on TV, they did vow to be the most transparent administration ever. So I feel like that's kind of it, but that's the reason why Trump just keeps picking, first of all, loyal people. If you remember his show, The Apprentice, it was loyalty, and then he wanted chaos, and he wanted stars. Like he wanted reality stars. So that's who he's casting. This is central casting. That's all he's doing. That's all any of this is, central casting. Okay, so now this is the part where we get to this guy. I can't remember which clip this is. But he's talking about Charlie Kirk. So Charlie Kirk's pressing and asking for this. This is out of sequence, but anyway, so let's just see what this says. So letter says she was always a plant. Bondi was always a plant from the start. She has a connection to Miriam Adelson. Yes, I read that.
Over his prior statements just about a day ago that he's done talking about Epstein for the time being after getting a call from Donald Trump clearly saying to get in line. So we're gonna play what he's now saying his stance is on discussing Epstein, and then a reminder of what he said earlier this week.
Honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being. I'm going to trust my friends in the administration. I'm going to trust my friends in the government to do what needs to be done, solve it, balls in their hands. I've said plenty this last weekend. I want to make an addendum to what was said yesterday is we're going to keep on talking about it. When I said for the time being, I was talking yesterday. I was telling the audience.
Do you believe him? He wasn't talking yesterday, though, was he? He was saying he's trusting his friends. He's like done. But the audience got mad.
Guys, I got a whole deck of stories I got to cover here.
That is the most obvious spitting in your audience's face lie I've ever heard. And by the way, his base knows it. His base watching that is like, come the F on, you were talking about that day. First of all, he's twitching even more than usual in that clip. So you can tell the pressure he's feeling. Ken Klippenstein took that initial thing where he's like, I'm just gonna trust the government on this. It got like 9 million views on Twitter or whatever. There were write-ups about it. He was revealed as an absolute fraud, okay? And so he probably got, I'm gonna guess, 100,000 comments of people who.
Okay. Do you think Charlie Kirk was a fraud? Do you think... Tell me what you think. I'm really curious about this because here's what I think. I think Charlie Kirk, I don't know where he came from or how he got into his position. I don't know all those details. I think he was elevated for a purpose and he was used. I think he was happy, like Candace said, he started going after the money because that's what meant success. He got married to a person who also believed the same thing. I think he was happy to take the money. I think he was happy to bend the knee until it was too much and too far. And then he decided that's enough. And at that point, he was in too far. He was in too deep. And that's like the mafia. You guys seen Scarface, right? They keep pulling me in. Like you want to leave. After a certain point, you can't leave. Tell me what you think.
For better or worse, and I'll say worse, trusted him or listened to him, and they were like, dude, I'm done with you now. You're an absolute clown and a fraud. And so the backpedal. Okay, so here's what you're supposed to believe. That he said, I'm done with it for the time being. And all he meant was, that's the end of this story. You know how on the damage report, 10 times a show, I say, and I'm done with it for now. I'm just gonna trust the government. Let's move on to the B block. We'll be back on it tomorrow. Yeah, that's how people talk. That's how people talk. Also, by the way, he said, look, I talked about it all over the weekend. You can refer to my statements if you want more of my thoughts, but I'm done with it for the time being. Why would you refer back to the previous stuff? What you were trying to do there was like, hey, I've been on the record. Please don't hate me.
Yeah. So I tend to, looking at this, I'm going to fast forward here a little bit to where we can get to Tucker, because this is a little bit repetitive. Here we go. So I think he was told to stop, and he intended to stop, and he had to back out slowly, which, by the way, is what they thought Candace would do. After she met with Erika, a lot of people were scared she was going to back out of looking into this deeper. Now, I don't know what tips are still coming in as far as Charlie Kirk's murder. That seems to have, been slowed down a little bit, and now we're on to Erika, but I don't know what kind of things Candace is still gathering on that side. And guys, I'm this close to going to Utah. There's that place where Tyler Robinson ate afterwards. I'm tempted to go there and to talk to some people. Okay, let's see this Tucker Carlson. Let's see, letter says his whole movement was an operation. Daily Wire became a joke to the youth. They did Daily Wire 2.0 and it failed. Yeah, I think it's a silent support, as Donald Trump said. I think it's a silent support. We're not hearing it. It's the donor class, which none of us belong to.
And it's just that we only care about Epstein.
Let's see. We want to
You're
hear
welcome.
this.
Well, it's nice to see you, Charlie.
In the interest of time, let's get to the boring stuff first.
Okay.
Do you have any opinion on the Epstein situation?
I'll be honest. I'm with Ben Shapiro. I think we know enough. We don't need to know
Dexter!
anymore. I trust the government.
I don't condone violence, but do we need a Dexter? Do we need a modern day Dexter in DC right now? Candace is the only person actually trying to get justice for Charlie, including the FBI, especially the FBI.
Fox News had a piece by Hugh Hewitt today saying only crazy people who have barren personal lives are unhappy enough to concoct these insane conspiracy theories that maybe Jeffrey Epstein was up to no good. So I'm happy with that. No, I'm disgusted by the whole thing. The point of electing Trump, and it's a real point, and by the way, I think he can make good on it, but is that the two parties are in alignment in a very sinister way with each other on the big issues. You don't really get a choice. You vote for Lindsey Graham. How is it really different from voting for a Democratic member of the Senate? It isn't. And Trump is the option to the two-party megalith. And this last week, a decision that the Attorney General made, I don't think out of malice, I think out of incompetence, gives the impression that Trump is in on it. And that's a terrible thing. It's very discouraging for his voters, including me, someone who campaigned for him. I don't think Trump is in on it, by the way, just in point of fact. I think this is a decision that Pam Bondi made, but I think they need to fix it right away.
So here in the audience, raise your hand if this matters a lot to you. Raise your hand. So Tucker, for those on podcasting, some people are raising like 2 hands.
I'm with you, baby.
Thank you, Joy.
What? So Tucker,
Hi.
Talk to me as if I'm like in 4th grade. Because the Washington Press Corps asked no questions about it this day. They had 10 questions with President Trump, and they didn't ask once about this. So they asked about like Brazilian tariffs, really random stuff. Explain why the base cares so much about this.
So Jeffrey Epstein was a math teacher at the Dalton School in New York before he got a college degree. He was hired by a guy called Donald Barr, who was the headmaster of Dalton, whose son amazingly later became Attorney General of the United States twice.
So this is important because I was saying we need the name. So there are common threads. We're going to begin to see, we have to see the common threads between all of these stories, between all of these people, and we will start to see a pattern of the same people emerging even more than ever before. So, Barr.
And was the guy who Bill Barr, who first signed off on the ludicrous idea that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself in prison after 36 days, after telling his lawyer that he was going to get out in a week. And this guy without a college degree and no kind of work history wound up making billions of dollars from no obvious source whatsoever, jetting around the world with the most famous people in the world and having this incredibly weird exotic sex life that over time it became clear was a blackmail scheme designed to entrap the world's most powerful people in compromising positions and use that information against them to get them to do the will of whoever's running this blackmail scheme. So this, I think, became pretty obvious to everybody, except for the National Press Corps that just did not want to talk about it. Epstein dies. There's no investigation into it. Donald Barr's son, who's then Attorney General, tells us, no, he killed himself, really, but all the cameras were broken. And so this is sort of boiled beneath the surface for anyone who's interested at all in like what was Epstein, digs in a little bit and finds out to this day, so we're now, 6 years after his murder, we don't know where the money came from. We still don't know where the money came from.
And can I interrupt for a second?
Yeah.
It wasn't just millions. He was living as if he was worth $10 billion. We're talking about palatial estates.
He had the
islands.
largest private residence in Manhattan.
So the magnitude of wealth, I hope you understand, this was not like a couple $100 million. He was living like he was he was a co-founder of Meta.
No, but right out in the open. And everybody in famous person world was rolling through the house for dinner. And most of them, I don't think, did anything wrong.
Like George Stephanopoulos.
Exactly. I mean, I know George. I disagree with him and everything. I don't think he's a sex freak. I think he was just invited over for dinner with this guy, and everyone else is, the Prime Minister of Israel is living there, Ehud Barak, and like lots of people are there who aren't bad people. They're just like they know Jeffrey Epstein. But then he winds up indicted again, comes back from France, gets indicted again, and famously dies in federal lockup in Manhattan. And it's very obvious from the beginning that this is not a suicide. And then the medical examiner's like, no, he was strangled to death. So all of this information's on the internet. Everybody who cares to know knows it. They're not conspiracy theorists. They're not mentally ill. And Pam Bondi knows.
Except for us. Except for us. Everyone in the Epstein files, they're sane. And it's all of us who are nuts and crazy. All of the people involved in the Charlie Kirk death and investigation are sane, and all of us are crazy, especially if you agree with Candace. Let's see. What does Quimby say? One of the problems with Tucker Carlson is his wife is the daughter of former headmaster of St. George's Prep and involved in the cover-up of sex molestation of students by faculty and students. I have not heard of that. That's interesting. Thank you for saying that. And I want to make sure these comments are on the screen so I can go back and look at them too. Quimby says all East Coast prep schools are the same and need to be scrutinized. All the prep schools, anytime you send your child somewhere to be raised by other people for 8 hours plus a day, there's danger. Homeschool if you can. I was happy about 2020, actually. Okay, so let's go.
And she's talked about it a lot. And she goes on Fox and she's like, actually, it's all true. And we've got thousands of videos of underage girls being abused. And I have the client list on my desk, and I'm going to release all of this. And then 4 days ago, she comes out with an official statement from the Department of Justice saying, actually, no, he did kill himself. We know that for a fact. And here's an edited video from an irrelevant angle that proves it, even though, of course, it does not at all prove it. And we have no evidence that he hurt anybody. We're not indicting anyone. And his former girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell's in jail, and that's enough. And he's dead. And it was a natural death. And shut up, conspiracy theorists. And people who voted for Trump, not the left, Trump voters rise up on the internet in full revolt. And not just on Twitter, where there are some wackos, to be honest, and me, non-wackos too, but normal people, 65-year-old Trump voters who were like, I don't, believe that aliens are running the government or anything, but you're lying to me. And not only are you lying to me, you're patronizing me and calling me names when I ask questions. You're acting like the freaking liberals do. When they don't want to answer a question, they just call you a racist and move on. No, I voted for you because I wanted you to respect me as a citizen and pay me the compliment of treating me like an adult, and you're not.
Thank you. Pay me the compliment of treating me like an adult, and you're not. You're treating me like a moron. And they're treating anyone with common sense asking questions like a moron. I almost said Mormon. Sorry. Anyways, moron. Okay.
So the real scandal here is who he was working for and where the money came from. That's the actual scandal. And no one will say anything about it because the answer
is it.
Well, I mean, he's right. He's just trying to make a point. He's not saying victims, aren't the focal point, but we have to keep pulling the threads of who's behind this to get to the answers. And we have to work fast because they're racing us right now. They are in a race and they're racing against us. They're racing against time and us figuring it all out.
Was it American intelligence?
No,
was it Saudi
it was not-
intelligence? Was it British
It
intelligence?
was Israeli intelligence. And everyone's embarrassed to say that because you're not allowed to say that or something because you're a hater, but you're not a hater at all. You can think Israel's a great country that deserves our support, as I do.
My best memories are in Israel.
Yeah, it's great. I'm taking my family on vacation there. But it's still a foreign country, and it's a fair question to ask, were you running a blackmail scheme in our country? And I think the answer is yes. So they were asked, and they're like, we're not going to tell you. And it's like, well, so why are we sending you all this money every year if you won't answer a simple question? If you're actually running a criminal enterprise in our country, which it seems like they were, then you should answer the question, and no American citizen should be embarrassed to ask that. It doesn't make you a hater or a wacko. If the former Israeli prime minister is living in his house, like, what was that? And if his girlfriend and co-conspirator is the daughter of a Mossad agent, which she was, why is it crazy to ask that question? It's not crazy. Actually, it's very obvious. And no one should be embarrassed to ask that. No one should be made to feel like a hater for asking that. Asking a question about a foreign country does not make you a bigot at all. And in fact, the effect of not asking that question, the rest of us are all kind of embarrassed and like, oh, can you really say that? What that right there causes hatred and creepiness. And everyone feels like it has to be conducted in secret. When you're not allowed to be straightforward about something, the conversation and the thoughts tend to become diseased. The same is true of sex, by the way.
I've talked.
See, and I think Charlie got this more and more and more and more. I think that's part of the reason that he was backing off from his stance on Israel. And like I said, we all know what happened after that. So here's Erika. I showed this to you guys yesterday. She got schooled on what grief really looks like. I've had some mean comments on YouTube. Some on YouTube, on X. People can be Threads is kind of nasty too, but we just do this for fun. Although it's so sad to see Irina's mom, Anya, and
so last year, Charlie was violently murdered by an assassin and martyred, really martyred for his beliefs. His wonderful wife,
the head bow
Erika, is
on
with
cue.
us tonight. Erika, please
Every
stand.
time. She was already standing, Donald. She stood the first clap. The first clap, she's up on her feet.
Thank you, Erika.
Charlie.
Been through a lot. In
Hi,
Charlie's
Loretta.
memory, we must all come together to reaffirm that America is one nation under God.
I've got my wedding ring
We're
on.
honored to be joined tonight by a woman who's been through.
Anyway, I don't want to play her. Oh, okay. So I didn't get to this yesterday.
Accused of killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk, and this judge today ruling that all members of the prosecution team can remain on the case. News Nation's Alex Capriello is standing by live with more on what that judge just.
So they were trying to get the prosecution off the case because one of their 18-year-old students, a college student, was there. But anyways, the judge said it's fine, which is what I figured. I think it's kind of fine too, just because, your college student is there. I don't feel like necessarily, makes you a conflict of interest. Now, fraud and corruption and cover-ups might be. So isn't that interesting what Candace told us about the family of Erika Kirk being involved in UVU? People were going crazy on X because they found pictures of Erika at a very young age and she looks like a boy. They had that short haircut. I had that short haircut. I had short hair, and they said, well, maybe so things are being sent like maybe Erika was previously a male. I don't think that's the case, but I didn't want to jump on that at all. Yeah. So let's see. Am I missing some comments here? God bless Erika. What's a Renee say? Let's see. Renee, I like your little picture. I pray Candace will repent and come back to the Lord. I used to follow her, but the Lord warned me not to listen to her anymore. I don't think that was the Lord's voice, to be honest with you, Renee. But I respect your decision. You may leave because we do stream Candace's show here, and we do believe in truth and justice, and that doesn't include Erika. Well, we hope it does at some point, but you know, she's had work done. On her face, work looked like normal. Wait, I doubt. I don't know what IDEK means. If her face works like a normal human, maybe Erika has had some type of syndrome where she doesn't know how to show emotions. Erika, yeah, maybe. Yeah, so, you know, one of my kids, they hold their emotions in. However, I don't think that's Erika. I don't think that she holds them in. I really don't. Let's see. What's this person say? Candace Owens pregame show. That's fire. Thank you. People were being mean to me about it on social media, which I'm like, I don't care. Hey, I wanted to come and hang out with people and be able to see chats and talk to you guys. I can't do that over there. And this is fun. Do we have any update on the Candace show? I keep looking. Hi there, me queen. I keep looking for updates. So if you guys see it before me, let me know. No, I haven't. So maybe she's going to be late today. That happens sometimes. Especially if she has newer information she's trying to get out. Let's see, Michelle Morales, when does a widow who works for a nonprofit organization get to be investigated? Exactly. I stand with Candace. Yes. Let's see. Love this. Why am I just now finding you? Well, this is pretty new. I'm pretty small channel. So thank you, Trixie. And yeah. Oh, I don't even know. Thank you so much, Hope. I need the young people to help tell me what these things stand for. Letters, you are ahead of the game with me. Erika was groomed by her mom. Yes, I believe so. And social climbing Phoenix people to be narcissists and brand her since she was a child. Yes. Yes. I have that in my notes to talk about because I don't think so. Candace had said yesterday, maybe she was MKUltra, right? And, you know, maybe, I don't know, but at what point in your adulthood, if that happens to you, are you responsible for your own behavior? And when you can see real life, you know, taking, you know, doing what it does, and truth shows itself, and you can either choose to see it or you can choose to remain ignorant of it, right? Let's see. I'm looking at your comments. Renee, there is a psychological operation being run on you. That's why the message is the same no matter where it comes from. All we hear is Candace is a demon. You're being used. Wake up. Yes, being used for sure. A psyop. So, yeah. Thank you for wanting to give me a super chat. At some point, I will be able to receive those. I don't know when that'll happen, but thank you so much. I appreciate the thought. And Loretta says, it always ends up being generation with these things. The world is a messy place. It's generational for sure. Quimby says, I grew up amongst the Tucson upper crust, and these kids are all groomed, just like the preppies, to be social climbers and superficial. See book on Ethel Kennedy for results on boomer generations. And Steph says, I think she's absolutely a product of MKUltra programming. Sadly, Erika is probably as much of a victim as anyone. I'm not saying Candace is wrong at all, and I think that's why she approached that. Yeah. So if that's the case, if somebody is MKUltra, like if they are programmed in that way from a young age, at what point do they become responsible? And could this be a legal plea and a loophole for people to get out? So that was like, I was like, today I thought of that. I'm Like, what if they're like, okay, MKUltra happened. It did happen. We're victims. I'm a victim and I shouldn't be held responsible. Kind of like the insanity plea. Like, couldn't you imagine? Who's this? Teresa, FYI, Maggie isn't feeling well today. Otherwise, oh, well, thank you, JK. Tell Maggie hi. And I hope she feels better too. I'm still fighting the crud too. Yes. Okay. To enable super chat, you need to have over 1,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel and monetize. Yes. I'm waiting for that to happen. So you have to have a certain amount of hours of public views, and I've got the subscribers. So at any point that should be clicking over. Yes, we are all a part of the programming. Yes, because they're doing social programming for sure. But tell me this. At what point, and is it mind-blowing to you to think that somebody could use this as a defense? Like I was MKUltra. I was programmed. Like today I thought of that. That is a definite possibility. I feel like that could be in our future. I really do. Let me look. I'm going to look at updates. You guys, if you get one, let me know too, because I rely on that, so I don't have to keep looking at my phone. Okay. So how, but here's the other thing. You can be raised in a family who lies, and this is just your life. Like, you don't have to have this deeper story of being programmed to where it's just a learned behavior. You grift. You fraud, you defraud, you steal, you lie, you con, and that could just be a part of your familial DNA, right? Without these MKUltra things. Let me see. Hope says, this is unfortunately true. You guys should read Brave New World. It's all about societal programming. It's scary, but eye-opening to where our world is headed. And then Liz says, oh my goodness, do I need to add you to my lineup? Please do. Coach Colin, Candace, Barron, Wolves in Finance. Great to see another lady in this space. Thank you. Thank you. I have watched them and they inspire me all the time to do good and to keep going and to do better. Yeah, so Letter says, everyone is programmed. It will never be used as a defense, though, because they use Spurgs to do the criminal work. Spurgs. Oh, thank you, Hope. Teresa is amazing. Brave New World is my all-time favorite book. Yeah. But even with an insanity plea, there still are consequences. Fine to take MKUltra into consideration, but justice should be served. Yeah. I mean, so Stefan says, I mean, people may be strong enough to overcome their programming, but some people will just never be able to break free. Severe, often sexual trauma based on control from a very young age is powerful. Agreed. Agreed. It's powerful. If you have looked at my previous episodes, I talk about that. I come from some trauma. From a young age, from 3 years old, 5 years old, and throughout my prepubescent early teen years. Escaping that is hard. There is programming. The person who, actually, people were in the military who had done that to me. Who knows what my end would have been? It could have been really ugly, but I understand the family programming, and not even the MKUltra programming, but just the programming that takes place in trauma and abuse and lies and being hidden. So yeah. I think she was raised, so I don't know. Obviously she was raised in a family of lies. And here's what I was thinking as I was processing through Candace's episode and the things that she said. Please, again, alert me if she gives us an announcement of when she's going on. What was I saying? I got lost. Oh, yeah. So, doing the fraud that they were doing, the lottery fraud, maybe that's how they came up with their money and all of that. But I think she just got really conditioned to be good at lying. But here was the thing is that I was thinking is maybe her her things with her family, when she misspeaks or lies about her heritage and her grandfather, her far, and her more far. I thought of some punny things to say about that and some thumbnails to make today, but I decided not to do it. But anyways, maybe she's been lied to. So here's what I was thinking about that is maybe the things that she's been told by Lori and what was the other lady who we're looking at that were like, maybe that's her mom? I can't remember the name. Anyway, I was thinking based on the dates that they were given, that she was adopted and they were trying to hide an adoption from her. So maybe her family history has been spotty and maybe she's been told lies and she's just repeating what she's been told and doesn't necessarily know all of it. Let me look at your comments. Quimby says, growing up with a pathological liar mother made me hate lying. My siblings did not learn the same lesson. Ultimately, we all have to face demons. Yes, before moving on. Yep, agreed. Thank you, Stefan. It's a long, hard road. You have to want it. And some people, I think they want the easier thing. When Candace goes live, we should all send chats giving Teresa Better Life a shout out for Candace Owens pre-watch party. Oh, that's so nice. That's a great thought. They go so fast. How can anybody see the comments over there? That's why I was like, I want to talk to people about this and I can't see any of her comments. So we get to chat here. That's nice. Thank you. Okay, so she could have been told misinformation. And, all I can keep hoping is that if she has been lied to, that she can receive truth and be able to see that eventually and want to come out with that herself. I don't know that that's the case because I really think she wants the altitude. She loves the altitude and she loves the money. So I don't know. And what would happen if she did? Would she get offed too? So anyway, so I was telling you guys yesterday about Redacted News, and they had on Whitney Webb, who is an investigative journalist. And she has specialized in Leslie Wexner, Epstein, all the ties, all the names, all the threads. We have to keep here and we have to keep pulling these. And I thought I would go over some of it for you. So I didn't post it, but I shared like what their Redacted News YouTube looks like. But anyways, I'll go over some of these key elements for you that I had fleshed out today. There's a lot of information. I'll try to skip to the important parts. And I feel like there was something else I wanted to show you, but I can't remember. Anyways, you are all nasty, nosy witches torturing an innocent widow. Matt Walsh debunked your queen's entire first episode today. Thank you, sleepyhead. You might want to wake up a little bit because I don't think that's right. But you guys, if we were wrong, I mean, I don't think any of us would have a problem coming out and saying, sorry, right? And really mean that. We just don't think we are. We're not. It is possible Lori's sister Carla, yes, that's the name, thank you, Quimby, is the mother of Erika, but didn't want and couldn't bring her up. This would explain the far grandfather issue. I think that's highly, highly likely. It happens in families to where the aunts and uncles are like, for whatever reason, can't do it. But that doesn't, why are they involved with UVU? And why would that? So that's what's interesting to me too. Unless there was an odd reason, like, yeah, who knows? So here are some of the things that Whitney Webb has on all of this stuff regarding Epstein. So I was like, I'm like, okay, who are the long-term players? Who are the oldest players? Because Epstein wasn't the oldest, right? In this whole bunch of players. So I'm like, you have to go the longest history, the oldest people in the whole web, right? And so Les Wexner, he's older than Epstein. The Bear family dynasty, they're older than Epstein. So the Rothschilds. No, this is another thing I thought of today. So Leslie brought up the Rothschilds, which was really odd to me because they really try to stay out of the news. They don't like they want to stay in the background. They want to stay hidden. They don't want their name spoken. So the fact that Les Wexner said the Rothschilds leads me to believe they are looking for a fall guy, and maybe they're warring and feuding on the back end, because that's highly unusual for them to mention each other like that, especially an old family like the Rothschilds. Quenby, did you see Gary Milton's coverage of Candace? He is really out of control, and Dan is jumping on the bandwagon. Yeah, Dan, that's funny because the interview that Charlie had with Meghan and Tucker were saying that Dan was like, you need to make Pam Bondi go or I'm out, and he's out. So who knows how they got to him or gave him something he wanted. Matt Walsh gave her a third of his show of airtime debunking. I think he's low-key Team Candy advertising her show, doing it for optics, so he just looks like he's playing the game with them. Maybe. Yeah, that's very well possible. Hi, Wendy. Letter says Rothschilds are also in trouble with Valve Steam, a gaming company. The Roths are losing power. All of their assets are getting dumped to the Sassoons. Yeah, so Leslie even bringing up their names, I'm like, that's kind of risky. Why is that happening? Because that's so rare. You guys have to know it's so rare for them to mention each other like that. Very, very, very rare. So something's going on. Something's going on behind the scenes, in the background, and we'll see. And I think they're looking for a fall guy. Michelle, debunking without receipts means nothing. Right or wrong, we just want the truth. In order to get to the truth, we need to ask questions no matter what. Yes, and sometimes getting to the truth is messy. You have to break it, especially when there's silence and people are complicit and people are trying to hide things. It gets ugly. If you think about it, in your own personal life, somebody's lied to you. If you're like me, I'm going to tear the place apart to get to this lie. I might not know what the lie is, but I know I'm being lied to, and I'm going to bust everything up through this room to get to the truth. That's just how it is. And so when you spot a lie, all you can do is go, where are the lies? And each of these people have pieces of it. And if they're willing to stay quiet, then they're within range of, they're our target. Maggie, hi. They don't even understand what Candace is doing. Exactly. To be honest, it's called journalism. Plus, she knows how to move because her enemies are impulsive with no self-control and an agenda. Yes, Maggie, I heard you are under the weather. I hope you're feeling good. I'm better and get to feeling better. Mine's been lingering, but I'm glad you're here. Hello. Yeah, I don't know. I keep focusing. Okay, wait. Did we just get a notification? Hold on. I saw something on X. I don't know who it is. Candace, let's see. Episode 2. So maybe she's going on at 5. She's making me talk a long time. let's see. Tell me, I'm not going to look at it. You guys look at it and tell me if she's going on at 5. 40 minutes until Candace starts. Perfect. Thanks, Letters. Are you going to be able to hang around, Letters? Yay, Maggie, JK said. I just found out about this podcast. What was put up in my homepage. Glad I found you. I'm glad you're here. Thank you. So 6 p. She's going on at 6? Oh wait, are you must be a different time zone. Hold on. Cause well, it's like I'm central, so it's almost 4:30. Is she really at 6? 5 p.m. Central. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Jats. You scared me. I'm like, I don't know. Can I think of that much to say? I have a lot to say, don't get me wrong. But I mean, you guys might get bored of everything I have to say. Oh, Letters. Guys, it's 12 in the afternoon. She's starting. Okay. I don't know where you are, Letters, but it's 5. Perfect. Thank you all very much. Anyways, the Rothschilds. It's unusual for them to be mentioned. Something's up, and I want to know what. Are they warring behind the scenes? Anyway, okay. So let's go to this. So Wexner. So I'm going to kind of go through my notes and kind of try to weed out the part that you may. So this is all new to me. Investigating all these people, it's new. So I'm having to do a lot of, cross-reference. Who's this? What's this mean? All this. So I'm kind of trying to, I want to leave out those parts of it because you may be the same. Although Letters has been like deep in all kinds of this stuff for a long time. Hey, did I see Cisco's here? Cisco, I didn't see Cisco. Hey, Cisco, if you watch this later, hello. Sandara, hi. Some birds lay their eggs in other nests to be raised by other birds. In the human world, this also happens with elite bloodlines. Oh, these offspring are then monitored and utilized if needed. That's very interesting. Intentionally. And we've seen that. And what's funny is we look at these elites and even our politicians like J.D. Vance, their names have changed so many times and down the lines through their lineage. Yeah. Keep Focusing says, I'm in Ohio. It's in the top 5 of the states for child trafficking because of the interstate systems here. So it's the interstate. So that's a big deal. So Les Wexner, he has influence over the Columbus Police Department. The local judiciary has allegedly suppressed investigations into murders and organized crime, ties dating back with Leslie back to the 1980s. So he's deep in it there. If you're in Ohio land, you are in Wes's state of play. I know Victoria's Secret. You guys know that song? Anyway, so so there's evidence suggesting that Wexner and Epstein utilized the Southern Air Transport in the Iran-Contra era to move cargo and illicit funds between Ohio and Hong Kong. Of course, power of attorney was handed over to Epstein, and he wouldn't have done it, even though he was playing innocent grandpa who was bilked out of his money. Hey, guys, if you're new here, let me pause for a second. Please like, subscribe, hit all notifications, bells, and click the heart next to the chat to let the algorithm know we're here. And I appreciate you being here and say hello. Anyway, he would not have given that to Epstein if Epstein were not fully trained to do exactly what he was supposed to do with that money. So he claims he was defrauded. That's not true, and he's just playing the innocent little grandpa. And you just don't. You're not. Sorry, nobody does that, and he's claiming that 42 million and probably more was part of an embezzlement scheme of Epstein. So the transnational intelligence and financial networks that are involved with Leslie and Epstein are the Rothschilds connections, and Leslie confirmed that, which again, I think is so weird, specifically the French branch of the Rothschilds, which is interesting because Candace has given us French connections with the Macrons. So let's see. So Whitney had said that Epstein was heir to Robert Maxwell's portfolio. So Ghislaine Maxwell's father was linked to financial operations, and it is said that, and it's suspected that Epstein was the heir to that, which is then once Robert died, then him and Ghislaine got together, and those two, I'm sure, were put together on, on purpose. Let me see what your comments say. I've missed 9 of them. Let's see. Let me scroll. Did you see the interview that's been circulating with Laura Ingraham on Fox News? He's glaring at someone across the room. No, I haven't seen that interview. Is that circulating like as of late, like this past week? No, I'm going to have to look that up though. He's glaring at somebody. And his nose is red like he's been crying. No. Oh my gosh. Can you post it in the comments? Can you post the link? Prince Andrew was an arms dealer as well. It's all connected. Yeah, and those guys over there in the UK who have, stepped down or gotten, been arrested or taken in for questioning, it doesn't even have to do with the child trafficking. It has to do with finances, which is crazy. Money is the only thing that talks to these people. Yes, thank you. Welcome into the chat, everybody, all the new friends. I love seeing you guys here. So Keep Focusing goes on to say that they had over 30 kids missing in Ohio last year. Was declared an emergency. What? Don't forget that Franzfi and Epstein had homes here too. Yes, in Ohio. Also, Erika was in Arizona at the time, in the time frame in 2006, I believe it was. She was in school there when Epstein was there recruiting and taking advantage of students in the Arizona area. The interview, yeah, I'll play it. Send it in the link, and I'll see if I can copy the link and play it. The French can never be trusted. Well, yeah. 3-month period. That is crazy. And how was that on the news? Was that publicized about all the 30 kids? That's insane. There was many years ago, I had a dream. I was watching something on Scientology and the whole history of that. And I had this dream of like kids, adults, women, and children being in like warehouse facilities, sleeping on the ground. And I saw the whole compound, like from a bird's eye view. I saw the whole compound, and they were like trailers, like you see on the big trucks on the interstate. Anyways, and I felt like the dream was true. I believe in dreams. Loretta, Sandra says, this has happened for a long time. Hitler's grandmother worked in a Rothschild household who was allegedly raped and bore a child. Hi, Super Smarty. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you found the channel too. Let's see. Misremembering, like the Cleveland area. So it was publicized in the Cleveland area. I just don't ever remember. I wish I had paid more attention. I tell my kids now, by the time you decide to pay attention to things like that, it's too late. So by the time it touches your bubble, if you're not paying attention to everything that's happening out here, it's too late. So there's no better time to get involved than now to really be educated and to know about these things. Me Queen, don't forget about the 300,000 kids that went missing during the Biden administration. Trump hasn't said anything about that anymore. Yeah. The Bidens, the Clintons, the Bushes. So sad, actually, probably more prominent and happening in our own backyards that we can imagine. Pray for these kiddos. Yes. Ghislaine's siblings need to be investigated for their involvement. International development communities. No one is looking at UN, World Bank, and IMF links. Yeah, she worked in that real estate company. Is that a different company than the Corcoran? Let me see. You guys are going up in the chat here talking about all these different things like SIG TV, all over news, TV, print. The interview of Charlie and Laura was the day before he got murdered. I'll have to look at that and play it tomorrow. I'm guessing that Candace is going to be on tomorrow since she didn't do Monday and Tuesday. That's just a guess. And in fact, let me, okay, so let me get to this real quick. Let me get back to my notes real quick. We might have to pick this up tomorrow. AIPAC, that's a part of the Israeli influence that Les Wexner is involved with. Of course, the shadow government and the nexus of that complicates all of this, as we all know. That's a huge thing. So the tech in China and Israel, all of that is connected to Les. We'll get into that deeper. I want to make sure we are being cognizant of time here. We've got a little bit of time. Okay. So here's something interesting that I didn't know before going through all this. With Epstein is being involved with Ehud Barak, which helped in the creation of Palantir, which of course Peter Thiel was the founder in and still active in, and also Carbine was founded by Peter Thiel. And Carbine is an Israeli technology company that develops advanced emergency technologies, and it's focused on providing real-time video, location, and data transmission to enhance emergency response teams. So what they're doing is they're collecting every 911 call, emergency to police, to medical systems. They're collecting everybody's data, and they're doing that. That's a big whole thing. I don't know if you all knew that, but they're collecting that on a global scale and keeping it. It's not just for your local state, but now it's a big part of this enterprise. So he's got ties to the Saudis, the sovereign wealth funds that facilitate the arms deals and the infrastructure acquisitions to the Gulf states. The Sultan, of course, we've seen that and heard about that in the Epstein files. Let's see, Andrew Farkas. What is that? I kind of want to skip through some parts of these. So people. So Les Wexner's one of the oldest, and Robert Maxwell. So we even have to go back before them, but those are originating members of, I would say, the Epstein net and bringing him in. And then, of course, Ghislaine, the Bear family has something to do with this. They're also in Ohio, super tight-knit ties to Wexner, which makes me wonder if there's a Wexner-Bear feud with the Rothschilds. Like, that's just like this, something's going on. So they have ties to the BCCI with the money transfers for the trafficking and all of those. William Barr, he's super suspicious. Now Dennis Hirsch took over for Epstein, so I just barely touched on him today, looking into what he's doing, what he has to do with all this and his background. He was formerly J.P. Morgan Chase. Excuse me. Leon Black and Bill Gates, as Thomas Massey had said on the House floor, they need to be investigated. Andrew Farkas, and all of this, all of the brands, all of the people, all of the time. Dubai, that's huge. So yeah, the timelines go on. We can go, into that more later on, but let's see. His Wexner's involvement in all these criminal activity ties were like, we think, as far as we know, in the 80s, which, most likely happened long before that. I'm sure that family goes far, far and wide, like all the rest of them. Let's see. Let me look at your comments again. Just look at it. Okay. Letter says the UN is a child trafficking group. Look into how many PDFs they have working for them. It's insane. Like Candace is right. They're running the world. Unfiltered. Hi. Just found your channel. Excited to find a fellow Candace supporter who's not afraid to speak out. Yeah, thank you. We need to hold hands through this part of all these people attacking, right? We need to remember that game in school where you all hold hands really tight and you're like, Red Rover, send so-and-so over. And then they try to break through the circle. Like, we're just holding on and we're not going to break the circle. You can try. You can try, Matt Walsh, Graham, Allen, but you're not going to break through. We've got a tighter grip than that. So many new peeps. The Algo has blessed us today. Yes. Yeah, it's good. I like having you all here. Australia time. Oh, Cassandra, hi. You're Australia. Okay. Let's see. Whoops, I clicked on the wrong. It's ironic because people used to say that nothing goes on in Ohio as a joke. I was like, it was a meme, but it's quite the opposite. Yes. I guess nothing they can post about. I think the gay British king is kind of in on it too. I remember a few years ago, the infamous pics of a Rothschild pointing at the then Prince Charles' chest, and Charles loves his Mohammedans. And Quimby says, UN women is amongst the worst of all in the UN. I have pending lawsuits against all these guys, but none of the lawyers want to get involved. Yeah, I bet it's hard. Anytime you're in a town and lawyers against lawyers or politicians against politicians, they're like, oh, I don't think so. I don't think so. Anyway, let me go. I'm going to flip through this. Clinton, how far back do you guys think the Clintons were involved? I think the Clintons were involved. Do you think, who was that guy? Oh my gosh, my mind, you guys. Candace episode was so fire. It was so fire. It was a lot of information. I was worried because our chats weren't working. And I'm like, is this dry for you guys? Like it was a lot of groundwork and laying that. So I didn't realize probably until near the end that probably something was wrong with the chat. But that was a lot of information. Yeah, DC needs draining, and everybody counted on Trump to do it. And Biden, that's the name. I'm like, I know this name, Biden. He definitely looks like a perv. Yeah, the Clintons are involved. And the fact that they are doing a deposition today is just crazy. it's just, yeah. Yeah, send it to me on X. I'll copy and paste it, Maggie. They're involved. Clintons are involved in everything. Everything dirty they can. Like, I was dying. I didn't see any video, and I didn't read the article where she says she was calling out Elon. But the fact that they're up there acting like they're trying to help is crazy to me. I mean, where was all this outrage back when you were on the chopping block and being talked about? Pretty sure it broke YouTube. Yeah. It definitely broke our YouTube. Let's see. And then they try to send Ben Shapiro his normal videos. That's one of my favorites. That is one of my favorite episodes. I think I jumped up and screamed. I was, yes, pounding fists. Kennedy was our last real president. Kennedy. What about Maha? Is that a joke? It's a joke. Anyway, okay. I had some clips here to just remind us, let's see, about Erika. So we're talking about her, shedding some tears, or at least looking like she was shedding some tears at the State of the Union address, and talking yesterday about that person. What was that person's name? They posted about like a sociopath or a psychopath, and they think that Erika is one, which I personally do think she is one. I think she has no sense of empathy. And when she was saying that, I'm like, that hits exactly what I felt like when she was on her recordings and she was telling them what grief, what to expect and what grief might look like. I'm like, she's actually saying that like a person who's basically read about grief, but it's so fake. So I was going to play that. I have a couple of them queued up for you. Let me see. I'll go to X and see Maggie. I wish I could. I have to figure out how to enable links. I wonder if you can private chat me, Maggie. Let's see. Lane was her last name. Oh, the one who did that post. If you can be taken out and hidden, you were never really a president, just another puppet. Cisco. Hi, Cisco. I went to Jordan Henshaw's stream after yours yesterday, and no one could comment in the chat either. Oh, really? For the first 10 minutes, he was all confused about what was going on. Okay, yeah, that was wild. Okay, so I'm gonna go over on X. Did you send it to me in a message, Maggie? Okay. So you guys, did you notice that when Erika was talking about grief, aside from her going like, if anybody acts weird, don't think anything about it. But did anybody else think that she talked about grief as if she read it in a book? Steph says, I don't know. Oh, Stefan, I don't know. When I see the older videos of her with people before Charlie, she looks genuinely happy. I see her smiling and laughing sincerely. Hi, Jamie. Yeah, Candace is on tonight. She is on in about 15 minutes. So, yeah. And if you're here for the first time, usually what we do is we just play her live. You can stream her on another device too, or leave if you want to. But we continue to chat here. And then also during her advertisements, her sponsors, I put it on mute and then we chat a little bit. In there. So I usually I keep my window small so that she can have her sponsors shown, and we have that there. So anyway, let me go and I've got to remove this one and share this. Okay, so I have this one. Yeah, she's not she is not connected at all. How can you even be a mom? Like, how do you be a mom? Because you have to have empathy. Otherwise, you're just not good at it. Let's see.
Just what I've noticed these past several days is if I didn't have the family, the Turning Point USA family with me, all of you, I would be a disaster. I mean, I would be in fetal position 24/7. But the fact that we have
the fetal position 24/7, I just don't buy it.
A continued mission to look forward to, and we have our family. It's everything. And some of you, this is your chosen family. And just rely and lean on each other. That's huge. Leaning on each other is huge because all of you were together prior.
Okay, this is just a little bit petty, but she just wiped her nose and then took it and wiped over her eye. So there must not have been snot there. Trust me, you guys have been, the people who've been with me, like, I have a constant runny nose. So I always have a tissue next to me.
To this, and we'll be together after this, and everything, and I told Justin this, it's going to be something where everything before September 10th, any email you were working on, any project you were working on, it's not that it's irrelevant now. It's
not that it's not irrelevant now. It's just that it's
just things have changed, obviously, and the mission has gotten deeper, and the mission will grow deeper.
Actually, it was like abandon all of Charlie's mission. It's all different. And nothing you were working on before is going to stay. Because the three things that Charlie was talking about before his death, finances, TPUSA, turning from his views on Israel, and the Epstein files. And they're the three things that she's abandoned.
But like, I just want all of you to know, we will be wise stewards. We will be vigilant. We will be humble. And I just want you to know that, again, I'm with you. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. And we're going to make sure that we honor my husband so well that this whole world knows what his vision was and
what he cared about. We already see that's a lie.
And it's just, I feel so blessed and honored.
Candace's side eye. Let's see. Stephen, like JP Sears said, we're going to be more Charlie than Charlie ever was. He's so funny. He makes me laugh. Let's see. Sandra, released the Mountbatten files. Dude was the OG Epstein. His involvement in Russia is also very interesting. Huh. Let's see. Me Queen. I don't know why I keep going back to this. Maybe very minor issue or a cow thing. What's a cow thing? Am I saying that wrong? Is that supposed to... sorry if I'm illiterate with the emojis, but why is her mouth black? Oh, yeah, it did look strange. Her mission should be the kids. Jamie says, I guess you are a free enterprise. Well, thank you. I'm a fan now. Babylon system is the vampire deceiving the children continuously. Yeah. See, Erika is the worst. Hi, Jamie. Thanks for being here. Wow. She is. Regime change, Israel. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Speaking of the ties to Epstein and all of that is Jared Kushner and all of that over there, of course, as we all figured. Yeah, then she promptly fired 40 employees after that. Bye, Hope. Thanks for being here. Okay, so then we have this. Let's remember this.
Like, it's just insane. It's just insane. We had over 275,000 people that attended, and stadium, overflow, Westgate, insane, you guys. And then you have, is it 100
Can
million?
you guys hear that?
You guys that heard the gospel and all about Charlie and all about everything that you guys do and the hard work of Turning Point USA is insane. We had thousands that were registered to vote. I think we're at like over 200,000 for merch sales. Don't quote me on that because I think it just keeps like bumping up like crazy. But I just wanted to say a huge, huge, huge thank you to the events team, the development team, the graphic design team, the production team. It's just phenomenal. Their incredible work leading into the memorial.
Yes, she does.
And honestly, a lot of the staff that worked on the memorial, they had 20-hour days for a week during the time of us grieving the loss of my husband. And honestly, I know several staff that didn't even sleep. Again, you guys are breathing angels, and I'm so grateful for all of you. And obviously a huge thank you to the Mosaic team. VI, you guys are 10 out of 10.
Did I miss the part where she said grief?
The most incredible team. We just do. And you guys know that, and you guys are all a part of that. And I am so, so thankful. And if you do have a moment and you run into any of those staff members that you know had a role in this, and you know that they put a lot of their time and effort into it, just say thank you. There's something really special to be seen in moments like this, and it's not easy. I'm speaking from experience. I'm right in the trenches with you guys. And so the fact that you just, a simple thank you. I don't care if any of you have beef with each other from the past or have any issues with someone said something about this or that. Like, if you guys have any of that, please put it to rest. My husband's dead. Like, I'm not trying to be morbid, but he's dead. And it puts life into perspective of how short life is.
Can you imagine saying that about your husband? Can you imagine? He's dead. I don't mean to be morbid, but he's dead. I just, no. No. No, not in a million years. Yeah, where is that? Yeah, your heart's breaking. Yeah. Jamie says, no one mentions the vampire Jared Kushner. Yeah, and poor Ivanka. Like, what part does she play? Do you know? I just read she obviously, which I guess I should have assumed that she went to, is it Orthodoxy, Jew, whatever. Anyway, so she, converted the vampire lady Trump. If aren't the creepiest couple we ever seen, make Erika look like Sandra T. Yeah. I remember shortly after Charlie was killed, the amazing Mikey McCoy posted a video of himself jumping around in the private jet, all excited about how TPUSA was going into the future. Like, it's morbid. It's morbid to talk that way, and that they're all so excited, and especially Erika. They're taking their lead from Erika. Smokey says, Smokey the bastard. I just think Charlie and Erika were both hired operatives for Israel Deep State. I mean, yeah, I always hear Erika's voice in Barron's high school Valley Girl voice. Barron's funny. Yeah, she just passed a car. Yeah, an accident or a heart attack, not murdered. It's a weird. Smokey, I don't think Charlie ever had that with Erika. I've been with lots of women and she never slept with them. Well, I think probably that, no. That's how you kind of keep them honey trapped, right? I lost my fiance and it took me weeks to even mention her or talk about it. Yes. I don't care what you have to run. You'd have to, I'd have to go like somebody else do it. Like I can't do life. I would not be able to do life. Not for a long time and not like that. She was happy to jump on that horse. The way Erika talks about everything on those Zoom calls makes me sick. Yeah, it's quite disgusting. We usually stay here and watch the stream, get to chat and explore deeper thoughts. You must be answering somebody's comment that I missed. 5:55. Thank you. We are close. Letter says, I'm a pretty detached person. She knows too much. I'm sure she's detached too. Kirk's dead. Shall move on. It is what it is. Oh, yeah. Most people I don't think are that detached. That's unusual. I mean, and I think there's a difference between somebody who just holds their emotions close to their chest and somebody who just doesn't feel them. And I think she's somebody who just doesn't have them. She's callous. Yeah. I don't want to be morbid. I know. Whenever you're saying you don't want to, I don't mean to be rude, but then you proceed to say something rude. Like it's just, yeah. Yeah. Jamie says, we live in a monster movie from the 1970s. If you're old enough to get what I mean, translation, it's horrifying. No, I mean, you can, no. And I have sent message to her and she doesn't copyright strike me. I think she's, from, to me says it's fine. I mean, she hasn't said that, but she knows what I'm doing and doesn't copyright or do anything like that. You could play her on another device if you wanted to, or you can hop off and go to her. I completely understand and I get that. Shouldn't be going over to her channel and then do a live recap, just a suggestion. Yeah, you're more than welcome to do that. It won't hurt my feelings at all. I get that. Yep, and that was one of my concerns too. Let's see. I lost my dad 5 years ago and sister 3 years ago and still cry. Yeah, she never lost somebody she loves. And I think even if you haven't lost someone like you love, you can still at least feel the emotional pain of somebody. That's a suable thing. We're just chilling. Okay. Why can't I send you money? Well, I'm not monetized as of yet, but it's just around the corner. I'm just like this close, but thank you so much. And I appreciate that thought. So I think I'll be able to probably I think once you can apply for it, it takes a little bit of a time for them to like go through whatever they have to go through on YouTube to do that. Why can't I send you? But yeah, next time. Okay, Smokey. We have to stop calling her Erika Kirk. She doesn't deserve that last name. Got you. I'll grab the iPad. Cool. I'm wondering why the sister did the emancipation thing. Yes. Yeah. I think I'm way behind here. I never said Charlie was an angel, but still, yeah, I think he got off on the wrong track, and then it was too late to make course correction for him. First time here, good show. Thank you, Courtney. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for being here. I do re-watches on Candace anyhow. Yeah, me too. I watch it actually a couple times because I want to go back and I have to process through all the stuff. That's awesome. I have both playing. Sweet. Franz Fay letter says, or whatever it is, too hard to pronounce. Franz Fay. I usually have the TV going with Candace so she doesn't lose views and watch this channel on my phone. Candace needs the momentum. Push the truth all the time. Let me get over to Candace's stream and make sure that I have that going for us. Episode 2. We're going to share this. How close are we? 5 p.m. We're right here. And I'm going to go ahead and make myself smaller so we can see that. So normally I put her full screen. Once she goes on, then I'll be able to do that. And like I said, I mute her for her ads, but I do keep myself small in the corner so that we can have her sponsors playing and then we just chat a little bit over that. And I'm going to hop over to X, and I want to make sure we have all the volumes the way we need them. I think. Okay. X, you tagged me in a post. I'll have to play that tomorrow. I can't look at it here because she's going to come on here. Yay. And here we go. She's bigger. Our volume's completely up, and we are rocking. Okay. Cisco says, let's see, Candace had 240 live yesterday. Yes, I bet she surpasses the halftime show that TV USA put on. They lie. Their numbers lie. It's starting. Yeah. Jamie, you got me, and I'll watch Candace here. I'll tell my friends about you. Aw, thank you so much, Jamie. Bye, me queen.
All right, you guys. Now, I know a lot of American grandparents woke up a little bit confused this morning, wondering why their grandchildren are suddenly referring to them as far, far and more far. I'm proud of us. We classed up, America. We're taking that. We're taking that from Sweden. This series is maybe dedicated to all the far, fars and more fars out there. I was actually speaking to one of Erika's exes, and he told me a pretty interesting story. I thought it was very interesting. Aside from offering the standard, I do not recognize who this human is at all anymore. I don't recognize the person that she is pretending to be. She's very different when we dated. Everyone says that across the board when you ask them about their relationships with Erika. But he did tell me another interesting little tidbit, a little anecdote. One morning, he would often, I guess, speak to Erika about how close he was with his grandfather. His grandfather had already passed. He's dating Erika, and she's getting to know him and his life and the things that matter to him. And he says that one morning, Erika wakes up and she tells him that his grandfather, who has passed and who he adored, came to her in a dream with a message. And he just thought that was quite odd. I thought that was an interesting story. It tells us a little bit about Erika, because that is a psychology of sorts. It kind of reminds me of when Meghan Markle would spray Diana's perfume on to sort of attract Harry. We're learning a lot more about Erika and her psychological profile, and we are going to discuss more of that in depth today. So welcome back to Bride of Charlie.
We have nothing to hide.
This is the best trailer, you guys.
Okay, so on background, I don't know how far down various rabbit holes you have gone, but if you are a regular viewer of the show, then you are very familiar with the name Aleister Crowley. If you are not, please, in your spare time, hit
He
Wikipedia,
looks scary.
read maybe Hollywood Babylon, Chaos. Look, the short and the thick of it is the elites practice occult sex magic. You just got to accept that that is a circumstance at the top. They've been doing that for a long time. They get together and they have these satanic sex parties where they try to summon various demons. That sounds crazy, I know, but it's real. It's right there in your face if you just look into history a tiny bit. And Aleister Crowley, who was once termed the world's wickedest man, would host these parties all across the world. And he even created his own religion around it. Science of Thelema, black magic. There are so many stories out there regarding Aleister Crowley attempting to summon various demons. In France, he tried to summon Pan, I think in Paris. And many times people would end up in the hospital. But probably the one story that ranks supreme is something that happened in 1923 in Sicily with one of his acolytes. Aleister Crowley was sort of grooming a young Oxford student to become his magical heir. He saw this young Oxford student and said, "You've got it. You're amazing. Come down to Sicily and let's, try to do some spells together." This was a 23-year-old student, okay? Aleister Crowley thinks he has the it factor. They go down to Sicily and the kid ends up dead. I'm actually going to bring on my producer, Ashley, to explain to you a little further what happened when they were working on an invisibility charm. Take a listen.
Yeah, so basically, Aleister Crowley was convinced that he was able to make himself invisible, and he was trying to bestow that power upon his little magical heir, Raoul Loveday. This was during one of his infamous ceremonies at his abbey in Sicily. But during the experiment, they both got really sick. Aleister survived, he was fine. But the nurse that was helping them said that Raoul became slowly fainter and fainter until he just completely disappeared. And so Aleister buried him in a quote unquote empty coffin, like there was absolutely nothing in it. And later, Raoul's wife, who was there, she was present for all of this. She blames Aleister Crowley for this. But just a few years later, in 1929, they came out and said, oh no, actually, he just died from inflammation of the intestines. Nothing to see here.
So I'll tell you why this is important, why Aleister Crowley is so significant to the things that are happening today, okay? What ended up happening was Mussolini, the evil fascist, kicked him out of the country for being a Satanist. Fortunately for Aleister Crowley, this didn't actually matter because he was friends with the elites all over the world, including, and this is just a historical fact, a woman by the name of Pauline Robinson, who would eventually, after spending time with her friend Aleister Crowley, 8.5 months later, she gives birth to Barbara Bush. Okay. This is just, again, a little over 8.5 months after hanging out with Aleister Crowley. Obviously, you know, who Barbara Bush is, the mother of George Bush. Now, this is the source of the rumors that Barbara Bush is actually the child of Aleister Crowley. Now, why am I telling you that? Why am I starting this episode speaking about these occult rituals and the idea that the elites are practicing occult magic? It's because it's important that as we begin to connect dots throughout this series, that you fully digest, as I told you yesterday, that Operation Paperclip
I didn't know that
was not
either.
about rescuing brilliant Jewish scientists who were being persecuted from Germany. It was about rescuing wealthy occult perverts like Sigmund Freud and his boys, referring to them as scientists, saying that they had scientific breakthroughs so they could go on doing perverted things and go on being the elites. The same families have been in power for a very long time. Everything else is just an illusion, okay? I don't know how some people don't recognize that. Just looking around at who they keep trying to tell us is a genius. How is it always the rich people? Do you guys really think that every offensively wealthy kid who makes his butler do his homework grows up and becomes a tech genius? That's just the story that we keep being told. Jack Parsons, unbelievably wealthy kid who created the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. That's the precursor to NASA's Apollo program. Oh, he was such a genius. He was trying to literally summon demons. He was Aleister Crowley's protege. He was doing the exact same thing that Aleister Crowley was doing, throwing elite sex parties, saying, we're going to create a moon child, everyone, sex, drugs. Look, Elon Musk seems like a nice guy, but do I believe he's running 17 trillionaire dollar companies at the same time while also having 49 baby mamas? No, I don't. I don't accept that. Bill Gates, that one bothers me the most. Oh my God, shocker. He's in the Epstein files. Look at him, people. Look at him. Look at his face. Of course he's in the Epstein files. You really think this guy is just such a genius? He went from computers to pharmaceuticals to poisoning African kids. He's just so genius. Yeah, I'm troubled the most by people who ever bought that man was smart. Poor and middle class people know we can never go on to become geniuses. It doesn't work like that. Now, I want everyone to just wake up from this occult spell of thinking that these people are smarter than you. They are not.
They're not.
Natural geniuses, which do exist, like Charlie Kirk, you have to either play ball with the elites, meaning hand over whatever it is that you have built to fulfill our ends. Let us be in control of the message. What you're doing is big. We want in. Or if you say no, you wind up dead. That's how the world works. And the military is responsible for keeping particular families in power. It's pretty much eugenics at the top and social engineering at the bottom. And we have proven over and over again as a society that we are subject to psychology. Our minds are malleable. They've trained us via marketing to poison ourselves so that we can't have more offspring, aggressive marketing campaigns, propaganda, repeat promises of scientific breakthroughs. Scientific breakthrough. Oh my God, we had no idea it caused cancer. What do you mean she can't get pregnant? We're so shocked. This is what the military does best, okay? Psychological operations. You've seen it in this entire lead up to Erika Kirk. It is part of the reason I believe, I don't know if you've thought about this a lot like I have, why did the military choose to have us all watch Charlie's execution?
Yeah.
Think about that. They could have just like poisoned his drink or something, done their standard, mess with the brakes and get into a car accident. I don't know. But no, they wanted us to watch it. They wanted to make sure that we all watched it and we had an emotional reaction, and that they could sort of harness our emotions to get behind Erika, right? Erika, that was where it was supposed to go. You watched it. She's the widow. That's why they just keep saying the thing. She's the grieving widow. She's a grieving widow. Never mind everything that she's doing right now. Never mind the lack of concern that she seems to have for this investigation. Me sitting down with her and her speaking about Charlie, and never is emotion coming up. And she's like, yeah, I like to work. But then when I see the first trace of emotion, it's about her mother, who's alive, but Charlie's dead. Charlie's dead. Everyone recognized something was off about that. The way that they are defending her is crazy. I've never seen anything like it. I could do 27,000 series, like I said, about Hillary Clinton. They wouldn't care. They wouldn't care at all. But Erika, my goodness, there is something there. You cannot touch or speak about it because, well, they cast a spell. What's wrong with you guys? Well, anyway, let's quickly recap the military connections that we've already established in the Erika Kirk story, right? So we learned that Erika was born at the Good Samaritan Hospital on either the 20th or the 22nd of November of 1988. It depends on who's telling the story. Is it Erika? Is it Lori? Is it Erika's dad? A hospital graciously gifted by the Marine Corps after they were kind of caught experimenting on human brains, because who among us hasn't been caught experimenting on human brains unethically? Youth, I guess, is wasted on the young. You should also know that Far, Carl Kenneth, was himself a military man. He served in the Army Corps of Engineers. And I have to tell you, having looked through so many people's stories, I do believe that the Army Corps of Engineers is not always engineering, planes. I think sometimes they're just engineering society. Social engineering is what they're into. I'm not speaking about Carl Kenneth specifically, but that's very obviously one element of our military. Now, Erika's father and her mother, Lori and Kent Francevay, as we learned, were married in Marblehead, Massachusetts. We still cannot find a single shred of proof regarding that union having taken place, but we do acknowledge that it is the birthplace of the Marine Corps aviation. Although whether that marriage took place in the 80s, whether that marriage took place in the 90s, or whether that marriage took place at all, we will see if we can discover throughout this series. But today, I would like to discuss with you guys Kent Francevay's first wife. This woman is very important. The woman that he married before Lori, in my opinion, is one of the more compelling characters in this story because she's very powerful, she's very connected, and she has quite a peculiar background. And ultimately, her life, despite the fact that she married Kent first, is going to plug right into Erika's life. This woman's name she died 2 years ago, Dr. Jerry Francevay. Look at Dr. Jerry Francevay. I'm going to tell you about Dr. Jerry Francevay. She keeps her name. She also dies in Arizona. Everybody's in Arizona. You would have no idea that these people were exes, and they seem to get along quite well. They keep doing business together. Well, Dr. Jerry was born Jerry Pitts in 1943. She was born into a very strict Mormon household. Yeah, fun fact, Erika's father was at first married to a Mormon before he got together with Lori. Jerry's Mormon family is from Arizona, a very powerful Mormon family, but she herself was raised in Indianapolis, Indiana. Jerry also happens to be a victim of child rape. Okay. Now she's going to tell the story in a different way. She's almost going to, when she retells the story, make it sound like a love story. It's weird to me. I don't think a person should be trying to normalize child rape, or if they do, they probably shouldn't hold any future positions of power over children. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Well, I'll let Jerry tell it. Let's read a bit of this article from 1981 where she recounts her own history. It tells us that at 14, she ran away from a strict Mormon upbringing in Indianapolis to get married. She says, quote, "I was a straight A student and was about to get the worst mark of my life, a C in algebra, Francois said in an interview. I couldn't face my parents. I loved my boyfriend. We saw an opportunity and we took it. I lied about my age. I altered my birth certificate. I then smeared it with Clarisol to make it look older. 6 months later, we asked to come home and we were welcomed. She was a mother before her peers, graduated high school, and divorced before she was old enough to vote. Okay, so just to recap, she gets married at 14, not
What's
mentioning the fact that
Clarisol?
she's already
Is that
pregnant.
hairspray?
Okay. She then runs away for 6 months to the other side of Indianapolis, uses Clarisol so she can get married at 14, has this little shotgun wedding. She gets married to a guy named Carl Pangirl. Carl Pangirl, spelled Pangerl, is 5 or 6 years her senior. I can't really tell. Look, she's already telling us she's forging docs, so he could be 5 or 6 years her senior. And just so you know, he's going to go on to become a bishop in the Mormon church because marrying a child is apparently not a disqualifier. In fact, she tells us her parents welcome them back into the home. Okay, I guess. Let's keep going. They divorce, and then Jerry somehow becomes a bookkeeper. She gets into accounting. So it doesn't matter that she got knocked up at 14, that she's married and divorced before she turns 18. She's still somehow able to just get a good job and begin a career. She becomes a bookie. She learns clerical machines. And I would love to know who exactly it was that she was bookkeeping for, because I think it probably was somebody pretty important, because Jerry then suddenly marries some top brass in the military. Her second husband, and we're not going to get it, just going to give you the facts about him. He's a man named Kenneth Himsel, and he's a captain in the Indiana National Guard. He goes on to become a major general. They get hitched in 1965. Jerry's now got connections. She gets a bachelor's degree in psychology. That same year, psychology is what she is about to become an expert. That's going to be her career path in. She just gets psychology, particularly the psychology of children. It's now 1970. She's 27, and she becomes a social worker in Indiana. And instantly in my mind, and I get it, I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I'm pretty obsessed with MKUltra. I don't love anybody that was a psychologist in the 70s, especially one that's connected to the military, especially someone that's connected to the military in Indiana who happens to be a victim of child rape herself. I'm not loving it. A lot of red flags here. It's immediately suspicious because MKUltra was in full swing. And if you did not know, Indiana was a major hub for MKUltra action. The universities in Indiana were factually involved in experimentation. In fact, Indiana was actually the place that the government manufactured the LSD to drug people with for their experiments. You can thank Indiana for the hippies movement. Thank you, Indiana. Anyway, suddenly Jerry's big time, okay? In 1971, she heads out to Chicago and she begins working for Quaker Oats for 3 years. Now, if you're like me, I was like, well, at least Quaker Oats, we know, hired a psychologist for what? She says she was helping them with marketing. What kind of marketing? Okay, the official story, I don't know, help us sell these oats. And if you're like me, I was literally thinking in my head, well, at least Quaker Oats was never involved in any weird MKUltra type experimentation or anything. Except for that one time when Quaker Oats was actually going into mental institutions and force feeding a bunch of radioactive oats to little boys. Look at this article. This is our government. A spoonful of sugar helps the radioactive oatmeal go down. Yes. Quaker
What
Oats
in the
was conducting
world?
experiments on unsuspecting young boys. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Anyway. The Atomic Energy Commission teamed up with Quaker Oats to experiment on children. Now, how long did that go on for? Did Jerry Francois herself play a part in any experimentation on children with Quaker Oats? Was this even related to MKUltra? We're never going to know any of those answers. Put it out of your minds, because in 1975, the military orders the destruction of all of the files related to MKUltra. What we have today, which is already terrifying, is just a skeleton of just how far-reaching that CIA program was. But I can say confidently, I've always believed that MKUltra was tasked with creating Manchurian candidates. I believe a lot of people in politics today went through weird psychology programs. It's my personal opinion. This is my podcast. I am entitled to it. Jerry meets and marries Kent Francevey, jumping back into her timeline. Okay, she meets and marries Kent Francevey while she's working for Quaker Oats. And she's a few years older than him. She continues to climb the ranks as a psychologist, gets a master's degree, a doctorate. Now she's going by Dr. Francevey. And her and Kent Francevey moved down to Paradise Valley, Arizona, before deciding to divorce. Okay? We're supposed to believe that, okay, well, they're divorced. They're never going to see each other again. Maybe. Should know that once she becomes a doctor, she has arrived. She is now going to work for the biggest and most powerful families in the world. Okay, this is where it's going to get really fun, because she begins working for, I mean, not even just one of the most powerful families in the world, but it also happens to be a French family. France. I could never do a series where you're not there, France. The DuPonts. I kid you not.
Oh, wow.
She starts working for the DuPont family, becoming the director of employee relations for DuPont because she's so good at psychology. She gets into organizational psychology. She is tasked effectively, I would say, with finding the psychopaths that should head up the corporations that are run by the elite bloodlines. She goes into partnership working for the DuPonts. Now, in case you forgot, they're also just mass poisoning people. That's what they've done for a very long time. If the lawsuits are telling us anything about, they have innumerable lawsuits related to them poisoning the population, giving people cancer. Jerry's apparently a good fit. In 1983, DuPont completes the largest merger in corporate history with Conoco Oil, and they're able to do this thanks to Reagan and George Bush being in office, deregulating things, making it easier for private corporations to go in and do bigger deals. Of course, we know DuPont then moves those headquarters to Wilmington, Delaware. I just loved looking into her and just seeing that she's the DuPont woman, because I like to pause and reflect on past episodes when I don't know why everybody's freaking out about things. And I just like to consider how terrified they must have been when I'm looking into the Charlie Egyptian plains and I'm like, what's going on in Wilmington, Delaware? And I instantly hit the DuPont family. And then Erika's out there nervously at AmFest cracking like not funny jokes about Egyptian planes. She's like, no, nobody from Egyptian planes are here. Tell you something, her jokes are going to become less and less funny as we get deeper into this series. Now back to Dr. Jerry. She is then somehow awarded an entire research center, at Radford University in 1983, a gender clinic of all things. She's a feminist, and she's awarded a gender clinic, and they begin giving lessons to the military. My question is on what? Gender? Why do we need a research facility? Oh, I know why. The reason, and so you need to understand how the world works. The reason why companies might be interested in having people that will come up with BS research for them is because government and corporations have to produce completely fictitious academic reports and studies to justify the psychopathic things that they're doing to us worldwide. Okay, you got to have the experts. You got to have the psychopathic experts that will produce the reports so that people in power can just unilaterally force things across the population, like the COVID vaccine. Oh, well, Dr. So-and-so, Dr. Francevey maybe says that if you don't get the vaccine, it's because you're a psychopath. If you don't line up and get the shot, it's because you're crazy and she's an expert. That sort of a thing, just giving you an example. She wasn't involved in the COVID thing, to my knowledge, but that's the purpose, right? And Dr. Jerry Francevey becomes that sort of an expert with ties to the most powerful families in America and France. She also, by the way, happens to be a total and complete fraud. I am confident that Jerry Francevey is a fraud, okay? Fraud, capital F, fraud. How do I know?
Francevey.
Look no further than this report that came out of Radford University that Jerry Francevey produces pertaining to Native Americans and the Appalachian Mountain. I'm just going to show you the cover of this report really quickly. So it says that who's putting together this report? The Center for Gender Studies, and it lists 5 names: Marjorie Wayland, George Bourne, Richard Castor, Susan Friedman, Jerry Franzwey. Well, not what she doesn't communicate in this report is that that's her family. Marjorie Wayland is her mom. Richard Castor is her nephew, her sister's son. This is why they just get married so much, because, and I didn't even look into the other two. I just couldn't, once I realized that the 2 of these people were her family and they're going to produce a report, I just went, oh, she's like a whole fraud. That's just effectively Mormon mafia, right? We've done a report. I guess we can go into Native American. They need feminism or something. We can go right onto the reservation. These women want to be free, something like that. But I want you to sear that into your mind. Mormons conducting research, students conducting research. Again, this is a background episode, but that's going to become very relevant as we examine Erika Kirk's ties to Eastern Europe, because Jerry Franzwey gets involved in Eastern Europe, especially in Eastern Europe. What is going on, by the way, with all these Mormon missions? Tyler Boyer, I'm kind of speaking to you, my friend. I know about your time in Romania. I've got the receipts. Now, we'll dig into that. But the reason that I wanted to give you the background of Jerry Franzwey is because after this, heading into the 90s, the next thing she does in life is she gets involved with charter schools. She gets into the charter school business, particularly helping them to develop psychological methods with students. Yeah, you know where this is going. Dr. Jerry Franzwey is going to be the person that helps develop the Tesseract way. Tesseract schools. The school that Erika went to that is exceedingly problematic. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that after a quick break. All right, you guys, you may have seen the conversations happening.
So maybe it was just foreshadowing when I almost said Mormons. Bye, Jamie. Good luck in your hockey. How much does Mormons pay for obeying a rule? Lots of information. There's lots of information. That's crazy. She listed all family members, and they probably, well, they don't even care. They don't care. I guess the people you're writing the reports for, or the studies for, the papers, they're not going to call you out as a fraud or even question it. But you would think the opposition would, because you know how we have reports. So, one group says it's all good, the reports are good. Then the other side says, well, no, it's not. But they don't call each other out, and, they don't gripe about one another and saying, oh, whoever you listed on your paper, on your research, they're frauds. That, again, like I was saying yesterday, it's like the Republicans and Democrats, the two-party system. It's a good cop, bad cop, and it's just there to offer enough tension to keep people guessing and to keep people on opposite sides. Oh, that's wild and crazy. Yeah, well, I have I've never agreed with I've known some people who are in the Mormon religion as well as other religions, and there's a lot of hypocrites, but they do things behind the scenes. I think a lot of religions, people hide behind that to hide their corrupt behavior and dealings. Not us normal everyday people. I mean, we have our own bad guys too, obviously, but yeah, the people higher up do.
Again, that's dosedaily.co/Candace for 35% off your first month subscription.
I'm going to have to watch
this again. I want to tell you guys about Magisterium AI because I said it before and I'll say it again. We are in the middle of
a lot of names there to look into. Quinby, the reports get
face real tough questions about marriage, suffering, or purpose in life. You want the absolute truth. And unlike the mainstream alternatives, Magisterium AI actually brings the receipts. Every single answer provides clickable citations to original sources so that you can verify everything yourself. You'll get 2,000 years of Bible commentary and wisdom from the saints, popes, and the church fathers. It's knowledge-based growth daily, fueled by exclusive digital work happening directly inside Rome's pontifical universities. It's the #1 Catholic answer engine worldwide for a reason. And it's how you can explore explore the intellectual depth and peace of the Catholic faith.
And
So head to
This is wild.
magisterium.com/Candace or download the free app on iOS or Android. Use code Candace to upgrade to Pro and you'll get 25% off your first year. That's just $2.99 a month. Peace and purpose for the price of a cup of coffee. It's a no-brainer.
I
Visit
didn't see that.
magisterium.com/Candace. I mean, it is just not an exaggeration whatsoever for me to suggest that the Tesseract school, when you look at the people that are involved, very much you can view it as almost a child psychological experiment. I'm going to introduce those individuals to you. Let's just recap Tesseract school in general. Okay, we've already informed you Erika will be there from 1993 to 1999. We showed you this photo of her in the first grade. We also then showed you this photo of Erika in the second grade. Erika, by the way, I should note, because we got some comments about this, she has spoken about how her mother chopped her hair off. So that is a known thing because she didn't know how to do her hair. I'm actually inclined to think that it was because her dad was taking care of her at that time. I'm not positive about that, but that would definitely make sense because these are going to be the years that she has a stay-at-home dad. Third grade photo. We have here with Erika in this school. This is without question a school that is being designed by the elites. It is backed by the Bushes and the Waltons. They, among other elite families, they are, again, kind of getting into government money in a way, pioneering charter schools. You give us the tax dollars and we'll show you a better way to use them. Government schools are failing, right? We're always in that right versus left false dialectic, but the same families are benefiting from it. We're going to use this government money. Okay. Now, of course, you're going to do all that. You need to have your elite psychologists on board to help develop these children, how you're going to test them, how this is going to be a different model. And that is why it makes perfect sense that Dr. Jerry Franzwey, who conveniently is her entire Mormon family is from Arizona. Her and Kent had a home together in Arizona and in Paradise Valley, which is exactly where this particular school was. This was the first school, and this one is going to fail very quickly. But yeah, of course, she's going to help them draft those psychological models that, at the school that Erika attends. Now, Erika might not know this woman. She may not have met her. I would definitely be shocked if she didn't know about Dr. Franzwey. Is she just doing the models? Did she sit down with the kids? I don't know. But this is going to be how they handle these students is going to be described as the Tesseract way. Now, I want you to know who else is involved with this school. Because if you think Dr. Jerry Franzwey is problematic, well, I told you already that John T. Goley is the CEO of Tesseract. He does that announcement about it with Jeb Bush, who is, supporting charter schools. Well, I told you John T. Goley, he was working with Roundup Monsanto on their launch. So I guess him and Jerry's with DuPont. That's a natural alliance, poisoning the population and getting away with it. But there's some other key players here. I really want you to know about this guy named Phil Bliss, who joins the board of Tesseract. Okay, Phil Bliss here, over there in the corner. Phil Bliss, the board member, was involved with Stanford University in the 70s. I'm not going to, yes, I am MKUltra. Okay. He was known widely during that time as a drug counselor. Okay, everyone's taking LSD. You got the drug counselors, and he is also working with Stanford's Hospital for Addiction Research, right? He then co-founds a school in Palo Alto, which is called Mid-Peninsula High School. He installs himself as the principal of that school, and that school then has a shooting. In 1996, it turns out that the student that committed the shooting had been working with Philip Bliss through his depression. Okay, fantastic candidate. I don't know. I got a lot of questions about these psychologists. As I said in the first episode, when you look at all these things that are happening, school shootings, behind everything is a psychologist and a prescription counter, truly. He also, on that same campus, by the way, he was on the board of a French-American school, so he also has French connections, but that's just kind of implied now in my life. The person who is going to be running the school as the executive director is a woman named Jill Kessler. She's the executive director, and she says that she moved to Arizona for her husband's job, and he is a pediatric developmental behavioral pediatrician, whatever that means. He specializes in children and behavior, essentially. So she is well suited. Above her is Susan B. Silverstein, who is the vice president of development. I have a very strong indication of who Susan B. Silverstein is, but unless I'm certain, I'm not going to show the face and tell you the backgrounds. But yeah, we're just going to pause on that. But we had a strong suspicion about who Susan B. Silverstein is. But like I said, they have done a very good job of wiping anything and everything about this particular Tesseract in Paradise Valley, which eventually shuttered in 2000 from history. I mean, even books. They're like, this person wrote a book on the collapse of it. The book is just gone. You cannot find this book anywhere. I told you already that John Walton, obviously the son of Walmart founder Sam Walton, is a major investor, and he also sits on the board. And my viewpoint is that it is fair to suggest that the school in and of itself was a psychological experiment, and the school completely falls apart. There's accusations of financial impropriety, as well as the method which they used to track the success of the students. People said this is a complete scam. The way that you're doing the studies doesn't have any control. There's no control. And that would track with anything Dr. Jerry Franzfey had her hands in, because she's a whole fraud. She's just, you can't just have your mommy doing experiments. Like, come on, man. You can't do this. You just can't do that. I also want to say this, and this I'm going to say without any names here, but the family that I received these yearbooks from, they had a child, multiple children actually at the school, and obviously the child is an adult today and has always maintained that he was sexually abused by very specific people at the top of this school. Obviously, I'm not going to name those people. I have no evidence of this, but I was very compelled to listen and also to believe that individual, because, well, child abuse and psychology go hand in hand. So even if I didn't have his account, I would not have doubted it. Dr. Jerry Franzfey herself, by the way, was friends and colleagues with Dr. John Money, the notorious psychologist who was one of the fathers of transgenderism, who then it turned out notoriously abused children. If you guys don't know who I'm speaking about, as soon as Jerry Franzfey opens the gender clinic at Radford University, or heads up the gender research center at Radford University, she brings over Dr. John Money. This is who Dr. John Money is. Take a listen.
John Money, he's one of the greatest villains in history, and he is the father of gender ideology. And he became that by abusing two twin boys, one of whom had his genitalia basically destroyed in a botched circumcision. Money believed that sexuality was fluid, convinced these parents that he could raise that boy as a girl and it would be fine. Long story short, that didn't work out. That boy was every bit a boy. When he was told what had been done to him, it destroyed him, and he eventually ended up committing suicide. Money was a hero because he told the world that his experiment succeeded, and it wasn't until the young man comes out and tells his story that people realize not only did it not succeed, but he abused those boys horribly. People needed to know where this ideology came from. This guy who abused these boys made them perform sex acts on each other.
Just a colleague of Dr. Jerry Franzfey. I am telling you, all of the psychologists are perverted. They are, I mean, I'm not saying like every psychologist that you know is perverted, but these people with the power and that are within close proximity to the elites, any incursion into history, any incursion into what happened and what went wrong into America begins and ends with these scientists, quote unquote scientists, that we rescued from Germany. And a lot of what we know and heard about World War II obviously is a lie, and many things have been covered up. The fact that we still celebrate these people in school, like Sigmund Freud, is your biggest clue.
That's
that
crazy.
Something is wrong. Something is very wrong and rotten at the top. I want to add this. Across the board, everyone that I have spoken to says that Lori, Erika's mother, is exceedingly problematic. Exceedingly problematic. They acknowledge that Erika lies about a lot of details, and obviously on the basis of just the divorce documents that we went through yesterday, I can see that Lori might do some things that would not be described as honest. Okay, I don't think she is likely an honest dealer. But what people have said to me is she is the person, has always been the person in Erika's ear. Like, she's this type A person that tells her who to go after in each and every room. She knows who those people are, who Erika should instantly transform into, what she has to say. I mean, one of her exes was very clear. He said to me, I was warned by another person in beauty pageant world that girl will do anything to get to the top, and her mother will do anything to help her get to the top. Her mother herself, Lori, was a model, actually, at one point. So that hunger for Erika to get to the top, there is a connection just based on the discussions I have had with multiple people to her mother. And I know that's an untouchable subject because there's always this, well, she's sick now. You can't talk about her mother at all. But to get into the Erika story, you have to know who Lori France is, and you have to know who this cast of character is around her. And Erika is, without question, a climber. Okay. She
100
is also without question willing to lie to make her mother look better. I mean, to say I grew up with a single mother is not true. So why is she saying it? Well, people suspect probably Lori is the person in her ear getting her to say that because it makes Lori look good. She wanted Erika to be famous, but let's not remove Erika from this. Erika desperately wanted to be famous. No one can deny that. Tomorrow, when we now begin in earnest to go through Erika's life, you will see she's never dated a normal guy. She's never dated a guy with a 9-to-5 job. And that's what Elizabeth Lane was hitting at when she was speaking about going through her exes. You can see like she was going to be with somebody. She was, okay, you're going to the NFL, you're going to the MLB, we can be on The Amazing Race together. You will see very clearly she is not dating a regular guy ever, okay? Her goal was to make it. And I suffice to say that Elizabeth Lane was very much on the money when she suggested that she would have done anything to be famous. And like I said, you simply will not be able to deny that when you see the stuff that we have uncovered about her and the missing years, I'll say plural, of Erika's life. Very weird. Where was Erika? She even admits she's missing. There's so much there. Anyway, we'll take a brief break before I just show you a clip of Erika just lying casually. All right, you guys, let's talk about something most of us have never even heard of, but probably should have. It's called C15.
Wow. Let's see. Yeah, she definitely, Candace is on tomorrow. Yes, it means we're on tomorrow. Yay. She's a money and fame chaser. Yeah, that's what she looked for. If she thought you were going to go somewhere, she'd grab a hold of you and then use you and then move on if she needed to. So where does that put Cabot? I wonder where he ended up and why. Oh, Albert Einstein's wife. She was the real brains. And yeah, that's interesting, Quimby. For creating a bomb. Wow. Oh, it all tracks. Yep. It's a lot. I know. I usually have to look a couple times and go back and listen. And of course, it always takes me the evening to process through everything that she says and to like put my own thoughts and connect my own dots to it. But oh yeah, I mean, it's obvious. It's really obvious. That's all Erika. Now, the only question is, who did she work with to do this? Do you think she's with Andrew Colvett? I think Andrew has often provided alibis and reasons for things when it wasn't necessary before anybody was calling for it. He was like giving us reasons. Same with Erika. But there has to be more to it than just the two of them. I mean, it's a big operation. I want to turn this on so we don't.
Just a third world problem. You should think again. Recent data suggests that 60 million Americans are currently infected with some type of parasite.
Yeah, I think I should get some of this stuff, this pure stuff. Actually, we're all infected.
That trigger unexplained anxiety, debilitating
Quaker,
fatigue, and chronic brain
radioactive oats. That's wild. The mom is pulling the kid's strings. Yeah, this is next level. This really is, Jamie. Yeah, Erika was trained.
But powerful enough to purge your body of these invaders that we encounter on a daily basis. This isn't a gentle detox.
See, Charlie was kept so busy. Yeah. Yes, he was on the road all the time, and she could do whatever she wanted behind the scenes. Yep. I agree. Like, he was kept like out there. He was like the footman. He was the foot soldier. And the people behind the scenes were pulling the strings, and she was pushed and pushed and pushed for him to go, I think.
Candace, at
This is a
checkout,
long
you'll get 15%
commercial for
off your
purge,
entire order.
for purging parasites.
You know, easily the most important relationship.
Oh.
And again, I don't want to get ahead of myself, so we're going to get into this tomorrow, but the most important relationship that Erika had at Turning Point USA is Tyler Boyer. You will recall that when I sat down with her, and I want to let you know that ahead of today's episode and yesterday, one of the questions that we keep asking that we can't get an answer is, how does Erika Kirk know Tyler Boyer? She couldn't recall that in person. We can't get an answer. That seems to be something that she doesn't want to answer, right? But Tyler's a very significant person because he introduced her to Charlie. He set that up, right? Not a good guy, Tyler Boyer. And there was a rumor, which I will tell you what Turning Point's response was, but and it was stronger than a rumor. It was somebody very much in Charlie's life who said, had reached out to me and said that Charlie told this individual that he was establishing Doge because $10 million was missing. Okay. Heard that. I went to Justin Strife when there was communication between us two, the COO, and I specifically asked about that. I said, I heard this, and this person definitely knows Charlie, he knows Erika. And, you know, is there any truth to this? They said, no, that's not true. Well, fast forward to today, and they've fired a lot of people, and, you know, a lot of people are speaking. And somebody who was within Turning Point USA confirmed to me that money was indeed missing out of Turning Point USA. I can back that up 100%, which is why I'm saying it publicly, that there were millions missing out of Turning Point USA.
I mean, which we all knew because Erika wasn't going forward with that Doge-like investigation.
And they were wondering where that money was going. And they specifically said that the money was missing out of Turning Point Action, which is headed up by Tyler Boyer. The reason why I'm bringing that up, and the reason why it's coming to my mind, is because Tyler Boyer has a relationship with Lori. And Lori was put on the board of, what's that company, whatever it's called, that collects data, and nobody really kind of knows what it does. Was it like AZ Tech or something like that? And I remember when I was sitting with Erika, she kind of brought this up, and she's like, a lot of people want to know why my mother was put on that board, but it was just because we needed a familiar name. That's what she said. Lori was put on the board because they needed a familiar name. I guess there's just not enough billionaires that donate to Turning Point USA for them to have put someone other than Lori, who we are told is very sick, by the way, and is very sick. But they put her on the board of that company. It makes me wonder if that is true, and also why Justin Strife has a different version of events than somebody else at the company regarding whether or not money was missing. There's a lot there that I feel needs to come out. I do not believe for a single second their version of events that Charlie established Doge 7 days before he died because he just wanted to feel like Elon Musk and use an expression. I don't buy that for even 1 second. So I do want to say that. And there is something casual about the way that Erika lies, and how she lies about her background, how she lies about whether or not she's had boyfriends and date for 5 years. That's not true. It's almost like she glitches and she doesn't remember. And there's an element of that to me feels like information is being downloaded, like she's remembering things and can't quite remember it. And I'm going to show you this clip because tomorrow we're obviously going to get into her pageant days and how she meets Tyler Boyer and the connections in Romania. But I do want to show you this clip of her just kind of lying very casually about how she got into the pageant world. This is her discussing that back in 2020. Take a listen.
Was it after that? That's when you started pageants, or when did that come about?
Right. So the pageant world to me is something that it was an interesting season of life. It was nothing that I was ever groomed for. It was nothing that was ever on my radar.
Sure.
I wanted to play professional
You're a
basketball.
tomboy.
That was my thing ever since I was 5. Like that was I wanted to play, and that was all I wanted to do. I was a gym rat, for lack of a better term. And I remember getting something in the mail when I had come home from school one summer, and it was like, hey, you should compete at Miss Arizona USA. Someone nominated you. And I was like, I don't know who would nominate me for that, but okay. So I shared it with my mom, and I was reviewing all the different things that you have to go through. And I thought to myself, if I were to ever win this, the most important thing out of it would be to be able to make a difference with the title.
Nice.
I don't care about the photo shoots. I just want to be able to overbook myself, being able to get involved with the local communities, with the local organizations that are actually making a difference. So the pageant world for me was something that was not a form of narcissism. It was more along the terms of being a steward for my state, especially as it hit our 100th year celebration.
Yeah, that's just...
She didn't just say it wasn't a form of narcissism, did she?
That's not right. That's not true. Erika has been involved in pageants from the very beginning. Her mother is definitely the person
Groomer.
who pushed that. I actually do believe that Erika loves basketball. There's no question she plays basketball. But this idea that she didn't want it is just not true. It's so objectively not true. Erika, without question, and anybody who's being objective and honest and looking at her history of the people that she dated and the people that she wanted to be in close proximity to, can guarantee to you that this girl wanted to be famous, like very badly wanted to be famous one way or the other. Don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Obviously,
Thirsty.
we unpacked a lot, but I just wanted to introduce you to Dr. Jerry Franzfe and that Tesseract school. And tomorrow we're going to really jump into Erika's pageant years
Jamie.
and when she kind of, I would say, hits the map. I'm going to answer some of your comments when we come back after a short break. All right, you guys, between groceries, travel, and higher prices, it's easy to feel
Not
overwhelmed.
Erika saying she wasn't groomed. Girl. And that it wasn't narcissism. And she didn't mean to. It was just an accident. She fell into it. Somebody nominated her for the pageants. Yes, groomed, narcissist, and nominated. Just like she didn't ask for the role of CEO of Charlie's company. She didn't ask for it. She was nominated. It was handed to her. I don't even know if that even is true. I don't know. I mean, that's what they all say, but they're all trying to stick to the same story. 2020 groomed narcissist. Yeah, that's Jamie keeps trying to go and we keep pulling her back. Or Jamie, that could be a, wait, do you spell Jamie if you're a guy? Anyways, sorry if I got that wrong. But anyways, you keep saying I'm going. Anyway, sure, Erika, what do you think?
And they water structure the whole solution for enhanced bioavailability. The result is a natural, powerful nanotoxin
All of them
magnet.
witches.
It binds tightly to heavy metals, forever chemicals, and microplastics. It helps to remove and expel them safely from your body. People using Masterpiece report clearer thinking, increased fertility,
Groomed
better brain function,
narcissist,
and ease
trans.
to chronic pain and deeper sleep. But most importantly, a significant increase in energy is their number
Yeah,
one
Mom
reported
wanted it.
results. So head to masterpiece.health and start detoxing today. You can use promo code Candace at checkout for 10% off your entire order. That's masterpiece.health, promo code Candace.
Good night.
Okay, the comments yesterday were just exceptional. I just want to shout out all of you guys in the comment section. Amazing, so funny. We were laughing so hard. Just going to read a few of my favorite ones. Okay, the top comment was, had to hide in the washroom at the Daily. Oh, I'm sorry, you're going to that one first, but I'm going to finish this Daily Wire one. Had to hide in the washroom at the Daily Wire to watch this with the other 238,000 live audience. So good. Angel of Remedy writes, I want to piss off Candace so that she will investigate my family roots because I want to know where I come from. Tanner Wolf wrote, everything they have been telling us is far, far from the truth. I mean, loving the Scandinavians in the comment section. It was fantastic. We really enjoyed it. And you guys just make everything worth it because it's so fun, even though the media absolutely hates us.
Yeah.
And
we're
I mean,
hated.
It's crazy. The talk about a psychological campaign to try to get us not to do the series. You guys have no idea what they were doing. Just no idea. They were beyond. Charlie writes, we all feel what is happening instinctively, Candace. I feel you are the one who was sent to pull down the veil and unite us all against the elite global machine. They try to divide us, but together we are strong in God and truth. You know what? I used to play that game too. I didn't even realize it. That's how good their psychological campaigns are. Like, they really do make you think you figured it out if you've picked either the left or the right.
Yeah.
And no, they are benefiting on both sides of that machine, and it is the same families that are benefiting at the very top. All of it would have seemed so crazy to me if you had said to me even 5 years ago that, you know, the elites are practicing occult magic. And now I'm going, why are we even in school? We're just literally sitting in a classroom talking about the public school system so they can just work a number on your children and make them think that they're educated and that they should pursue working for one of these companies with the elites. That's the most aspirational thing that they can do. It's so backward. It is just so backward. Intuition Jen writes, it seems really weird and now a bit suspicious that there are so many Mormons involved with Turning Point USA. And Erika, thank you for continuing to go, Max. The Mormon thread will continue to happen. I do want to say this first and foremost. So many Mormons helped me in the Charlie Kirk investigation, and I could not have done a lot of that early research into UVU campus if it was not Mormons running around getting information and them acknowledging what's going on at this university. Why do I feel like the CIA is involved? Why is our president, like former CIA, she has since stepped down, but there's a lot of weird stuff happening in Utah. But in terms of speaking about Turning Point USA, Tyler Boyer is the guy. He's the guy that introduced Charlie to everybody, including Erika. And Erika can't remember how she met him. That's not right. Okay. And more investigation needs to be done into Jerry Franzfe's Mormon family. Okay. I'm going to give you that last name again of her mother, Marjorie Ferrin, Ferrin. Now, Mormon families are always big, so this could mean something or it could mean nothing, but the Ferrins definitely married into the Farnsworth clan a few times. And Arizona, there's stuff going on there. There's definitely stuff going on. Tyler is close with the Farnsworth clan. We've covered that. There's a lot to look at, and I can say definitively he is not a good person. And it's weird that Erika is protective of him. That should unnerve you. If that's another thing that was missing in this is just her instinct to get rid of bad people or people that were pressuring Charlie. She's like, give them main stage. Stage. These are my allies. My allies are Charlie's enemies. I don't know. None of that's normal. None of that is normal. And if I find out the Turning Point action was indeed for a fact and not allegedly, and I feel like it is like, I'm getting this from Turning Point USA, right? I was actually missing around $10 million, two separate people saying that, one in their personal life saying that, and now someone in their professional life saying that. And Erika is covering for that. It's just going to get even bigger. This is just going to get, we just need to keep the pressure and get to the bottom of what happened. Jennifer Hofer writes, the young boys who were abused were David and Bruce Reimer. I'm from Manitoba, a small town outside of Winnipeg. It is a very dark story. Yes, absolutely. Of what Dr. John Money did to those twins. And there was so much evil that happened. The media did not cover it well. I pray he is in a better place. There was no justice ever served. Absolutely true. And that was in one of Dr. Jerry Franzfe's colleagues, given her background and what happened to her. And the family was just okay with it. Come back home. Okay, it's all right. Your 19-year-old boyfriend knocked you up, just come back in. This person writes, we need a day of peace and worship, Hands Across America 2.0. We need to come together and raise the spiritual vibration of this world. Some will fight this evil with weapons. Some will fight it with spirituality. Anyone have any ideas? Let's go, Max. I am all about fighting it with prayer and truth. I am so serious when I tell you, I don't know. It's almost like they're like, they try to like cast a spell every time they lie, but it doesn't land anymore. It doesn't land. And they kind of know it doesn't land. All of the money, like we're saying no to the money. We're recognizing the influencer campaigns, the screaming, the theatrics. You cannot watch this series. Candace is a demon. Oh my gosh. How dare she look into what school Erika went into? How dare she notice that she's lying? Like, I always want you guys to just feel encouraged because none of us were awake to this. years ago. We were all at one another's throats, and now we are finally turning around and looking at the elites and going, who are you? What families are you from? Why are you behaving like this? We're the psychologists now, right? We're diagnosing them, and they're a bunch of psychopaths.
And we're better at it.
This is our ship, and you guys got to go. Okay, we're not doing this anymore. The peer pressure, making people terrified all the time, and you're gonna lose everything. We'll crush you. We'll do this. Goodbye,
yeah, I think so too, Courtney.
Just goodbye. Nobody cares about that anymore. Jordan writes, "Dear Candace, you are a human being who is true to her soul. When my father died, I held him tightly to my arms to make him know that I was there for his last path, as scary as it was for him." Wow, it's so beautiful. While being skeptical, I kept my senses open, and I truly felt his soul coming out of his body. Helena Dini writes, TPUSA is running a tight shipwreck. Joyce Tutall writes, she is America's #1 investigative truth seeker. Of course, we stand with Candace. Christ is King. Let's go. Yeah, I just want you guys to walk away and know that the elites are practicing the occult. I want you to know that it has not stopped. Yes, they are satanic, and we have to just acknowledge that thing first. Remain optimistic. In the end, God wins, okay? God, he's already won. My husband says to me, I'm like, in the end, we win. He's like, Christ has already won. That's why they can't defeat truth. They don't know what to do. They're spending so much money. They can buy everything. They can buy influencers. They can buy ad spots. They can continue to float people who would naturally have failed if we did, in fact, live in a free market society. Nobody's watching them, but somehow their companies keep growing. Yeah, that's the elites. That's their money. The factory never ends. But the one thing they can't purchase is truth. They can't. And so be happy. Be happy. I mean, that's not a thing. Hope Bean writes, Bodhi Bauckham is a prominent pastor and author and a theologian. He died on September 25th, 2025 at the age of 56. His death was attributed to an emergency medical incident. I loved him. I wondered about his death. Christ is King. Yeah, I did not know those. I did not know any of that. So thank you. Paigey writes, did everyone see the alleged leaked smear campaign against Candace Owens by Turning Point USA? That isn't righteous judgment. It's bearing false witness. The 9th commandment doesn't include an agenda-driven exemption. Truth over fear. Christ is King. Go Max. I can tell you, I did not look too much into that because I felt that they were trying to distract us and our team from doing the work and actually creating the series. But what I will say is I found out from employees that they were behind the attacks against me from the very beginning. And so that was quite shocking because I was obviously speaking to them in good faith, trying to understand what had happened. And then I was very alarmed to learn that they had so early been behind a PR campaign to dismiss me. I mean, at Charlie's real funeral, they're on the phone with the doctor and coming up with like magic bullet theory. That's beyond weird. Don't ever forget that. That came from Erika. That came from Erika. Superman neck came from Erika. And they're telling you, you have no right to ask questions. Like, what? She was running a PR campaign to help the masses believe that Charlie had like a Superman neck on the day that he was slated to be buried. I guess he wasn't buried. We don't know whether or not he was ever buried, but that's wild. That is wild. And it's not okay. And so, yeah, tomorrow, like I said, we will begin in earnest to go through her pageant years, which I'm very excited to get into. But I felt like this background and these players are important. Dr. France Faye is important. And now I can just kind of give you the timeline. We can go through and see what Dr. France Faye is doing in Eastern Europe. And then Tyler is going to get into Eastern Europe. And Erika's going to get into Eastern Europe. And everybody's in Eastern Europe with the Marines and doing good things. Always. They never do anything bad. What are you talking about? The Marines gave Good Samaritan Hospital out of their hearts. They just said, I heart you, Catholics. Here, have this hospital. Yeah, that's how it goes. Anyway, reminding you, if you'd like to support the show, we have merch available on the website. Head to CandaceOwens.com. It is the easiest way to support me and to support our team and the amount of research that we do. It is exhausting. You have no idea, but we wouldn't have it any other way. We love having a small team. And yeah, so go buy yourself a mug. Tell your priest that you will chill. Also, I love this, the whole, why is Emmanuel gay? Well, we don't know. Well, we kind of do know, to be honest. We don't know, but we know. Anyway, you guys, we will, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, Candace. Bye. Okay. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay, so is this a 3-part? So is tomorrow the end? Or I wonder if she's going longer, if she has more stuff. But didn't I remember seeing something that it was a 3-part, or am I imagining that? Anyways, those are interesting names. I'm not super strong at research. I'm trying to get better. But if any of you do, and I was talking about Candace's stuff, maybe I'll do some sort of contest. Maybe when I get monetized, when I am able to be monetized and I can do super chats, then I'll just like give a gift or something, because I need an excuse to go buy some Candace merch. Not excuse. I do want some stuff, but Cisco says they like to use the military to launder money through because it's impossible to audit the Pentagon. Yeah. Let's see. Royal Descendant, Jaren, I respect what you do. I have taxes among many other things to do. So instead of going to my phone to check for updates and forget, you're the background announcing updates. Thank you. Awesome. Let's see. Keep focusing says, I think she may have she might need to extend it. It was only 3 days. That's what I thought. Audrey, I stood and applauded all night Tuesday. This was the first O2 that was delivered by someone who was found guilty of felonies and was found liable for sexual abuse. It was glorious. I feel like I'm maybe missing something. Audrey, I'm not sure what that means, but I'll look it up or send me a message. Okay. So she keeps saying that that it seems like Erika's glitching out. I think Erika's glitching out because she can't keep track of her lies. It just rolls off her tongue. It just is a natural thing to us. But to close, saying, I'm gonna look for that link to Maggie that you sent, and we'll play it tomorrow. But we're not meant, like our spirits, our souls were not meant for lies. We are meant for truth. And so when we lie, even if it's a white lie, like we have to fragment, we have to break off and compartmentalize a little bit. I mean, trauma and abuse does that too, but that's lies. That's things hiding in secret, right? That's evil done. And we're not meant for that. So when that happens, and then it happens so much and too much, and like these guys, some of these guys are really good at it, like Trump and them. They're just like, I don't know if they're programmed and raised to do it from a lifetime where they can go act like the good guy up in front of us. And it's not just Trump, it's all of it, most of them. Sit there and thank you, State of the Union. I was like, I thought, yeah, okay, thank you. Yes, I thought that's what it meant, but I was like, am I missing something else? I wasn't sure. Okay. But anyway, when they can get up and they act like one person, that's sociopathic, that's psychopathic. But when we're not meant for lies, there's a portion of ourselves that's going to be broken each and every time. And pretty much you become so fragmented that you begin to crack. So yeah. Quimby, pathological liars can never keep track of lies because they tell so many that they cannot remember them all. That is why they are so easy to expose if you listen carefully to their dialogue. Yeah. And hold them to it. And one of these things is like, we've got to keep the pressure on because it's the pressure that's going to make them crack. Because when people get afraid, they start to panic and they start to make mistakes. She may be crashing too because Lori is so sick to be in Erika's ear as much. Yeah, she doesn't have somebody telling her. I bet she does, though. She's got Stacey Sheridan. That'll be an interesting dot to connect. Being two-faced is a requirement living in D.C. Yeah, and in Hollywood. In big business, in industry. But Candace is right. We win. Truth wins in the end. It might be an ugly battle, but we will be triumphant, right? Well, it was so nice to chat with you guys. It was so nice to see all your faces and look at all your comments and chat like this. It was a lot of fun. We will, don't forget to like the video. Go back and look at past videos. There's some interesting stuff if you haven't seen it. There's, you know, I talk some about my history, about some of the spiritual stuff that I've experienced in my life. That's just a little bit of it. We'll get into more of it as time goes on and we get to know each other better. But I appreciate you being here, and we'll see you next time, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
This is a better life. From scars to stars, from pain to bulletproof, Teresa, better life. A better life with you. Talking news, pop culture life, love and scandal, heart to heart. Teresa, better life. Real is where the reset starts. No playing small. We rise, we fall. We laugh, we do it all. A better life is one brave call. Teresa, better life. Let's build a better life. Let's build a better life. A better life. Teresa, better life.